Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. It is episode 70 already. Me and Devilwalk are just together, alone, the way some of you may like it, the way we like it, where we can deep dive and get into things. And there is a lot of stuff to talk about, mate, when it comes to Cologne and everything we just witnessed, how good Stage 2 was, how the continuous upgrade of games happened from where we were on Stage 1 all this way through to Stage 2. I'm still at my mum's house, so there could be small technical difficulties you might have to deal with if my voice starts going crazy or I see my little bars dropping down. Well, we know why. I'm still in the UK. But Devwalk, how are things for you? Did you like yesterday was great. Yesterday was like so much fun. It was full boomer conversation.
Yep. No, I loved it. I had the best of times, talking to Major and it was just so light, flowy, bunch of banter, bunch of good stories. No, I loved it. Otherwise, things that's going on with me, I've been today I went
Here we
to
go.
my dad's like summer place. He called
Summer
me and he
house.
wanted
Yeah.
and he called me, wanted help to and to explain it. His kind of summer house is on an island, so you have to take a boat there, right? Like a little bit of a rowboat.
No bridge?
No bridge, nothing. You can't get there on foot, right?
Okay.
So
sounds very Swedish.
Yeah, and he wants help to bring a wood cleaver to that island.
Okay.
And
how big's a wood cleaver? Like I'm imagining
wood cleaver is fucking heavy, man.
Okay. Because
it's like like a wood shop. No. It's kind of like a stationary thing that you would have like in wood shops and stuff like that.
Oh,
like
with like a big saw on it as well that's spinning around, and you put
not that not that big, but it's still like full metal. It's like electrically driven, whatever. It's heavy. So me and my dad, we tried to get this into the boat. Obviously, the boat is in water, so to step into the boat, it kind of like wiggles around a little bit. You lose your footing slightly as you do it, and this shit is heavy as fuck. No, but we put it in the boat, and like first try, and we just want to go out of the boat to take off the rope and push ourselves into it, right? Into the water. As we step out of the boat, obviously we take a heavy step to jump off the boat, and it wiggles the boat, and this entire thing just bloops straight into the water. And we're like, fuck. Yeah, it was electric, yeah.
Oh no.
So, my dad just fucking rushes into the water, grabs the shit, we're pulling it back up, putting it into the boat, and now we're about to leave, and the fucking engine doesn't fucking start, and we're just in the water.
On your little boat?
Yeah, and we're just in the boat for like 15 minutes. My dad is trying to pull the fucking handle for 15 minutes. I see his fucking heart is fucking out of his chest. He's like, oh, this is heavy. Eventually we get there. We kind of go on the beach. We have to drag it all the way up to his cabin place. And that's what I did today.
You've been busy.
And yeah, it was a bit sweaty. I'm glad I brought a flask of water with me.
Did it work in the end?
Well, as we do, I gave the gaming tips of electrical stuff, Let's make sure we dry this shit before we turn it on. So, for the next 1.5 days, it's going to dry in the sun.
Oh, that's fair. That seems like a smart thing to do. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously, you're talking about your story of your dad. I'm obviously at my mum's house. It's the house she's lived in for quite some time, and I got a relic for you, mate. Look at this.
A relic.
Look at this bad boy. And in
Is it a 1.1?
1.1. Look how grimy this 1.1 is. Yeah, bro. This has seen a lot of use.
Is this some like glossy one or what?
Yeah, it's a glossy one. It was the first one where it was Zowie and Microsoft together.
Oh,
It may have been
wow.
the first ever product we released as Zowie when I worked for the
I
company.
only had, so I had the 1.1, the white version with the gray buttons.
Yeah.
That was the only one I used. I thought it was the best mouse ever when
Same.
I played with it in 1.6.
Yeah.
But obviously it wasn't. Let's be fair. It's come
Bro, it's
ancient technology by this time.
Do you know what's funny? It's the fact that it has two side buttons, but it's one on the left, one on the right. And I'm trying to think, like, I used to bind buy buttons to my side buttons. I can't imagine now how I would have used the right one and still held a good grip. So this must have cost me so many moments, like doing this back then.
But you probably
Bro,
bought ammo on it.
No, I bought ammo with the buttons next to M
Yeah,
and N.
yeah. I know what you
I just
mean.
tapped like that quickly.
Tap that.
Yeah, but bro, this was crazy. This is crazy. Look how old and sweaty hands it's all on it. Like that's mad dirty, man. That's
It
mad
is.
dirty. And you know what? The thing is, the first mouse I ever used was the 1.1 normal. You're saying about the white one, right? I think mine was I think it was a white one as well. And then I remember I eventually changed over to the 3.0. I like the shape more, like a more ergonomic shape. And then obviously the Death Adder came out. I think I went to that, but this brings back some memories, and also just the fact it was the first Zowie product we released, right? So Zowie didn't even make their own mice at the beginning; they just made a custom coated 1.1, and it sold it. It boxed in with a mouse pad as well. So that's how they got their name out there in the beginning when we started it. So, and do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'm going to a storage unit that I've had for years. Yeah. I have not opened it since 2016. It's 10 years since I last went inside it. And I mean, this has all my old jerseys, my medals, like everything from my career. Wow. Everything from the whole time. So I can't wait to go in there, show my wife, and then probably think about how I'm going to try and
But you also have to understand you were 10 years younger when you packed that stuff up.
Oh yeah, bro. I know it's going to be terrible.
Packed. Yeah.
Not good at all. Not good. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun while we're back in the UK for a little bit. I'll do my usual, mate, because it is Tuesday the 9th of June right now. It is 9:57 in the evening for me, which means it's 10:57 in the evening for you, and it's still very bright and looks very nice outside from you. I love this. People can't see your window, but I see Devilwalk on full screen. It basically looks like it's the middle of the day, even though it's the evening for where he lives. For people as well, people are probably going to make some comments of this from when they saw the major interview, but like I'm going to look down a lot more because my camera is here in good height, but my screen with all my information on it's in front of me down here. It's not optimal setup, but we're still cranking out the episodes. I hope everyone's been enjoying our special coverage of Cologne. The fact we could get a stage 3 guest in Major on already is impressive. There won't be any more stage 3 guests for now because when we've reached out to all of these teams and players, some people have said yes, then it's been scheduling timing. Obviously, I traveled one day to the UK, so we lost another guest. But we're going to work our best to try and maybe get some of the 3-0 teams to come on and join us. But overall, I think we smashed it with the amount of people we got to come on more than any other podcast. Guests coming on talking about what was going on into Cologne, the grind we've put on. So hopefully people have appreciated it and enjoyed it throughout as well. I know I had a lot of fun doing them.
It has definitely fucked up my sleeping schedule. I now wake up at 1 or 2 in the day.
That's game schedules.
It's been enjoyable. It's been super fun to get the insights of these players, and I'm so thankful for the ones that came on. And yeah, we gotta give ourselves a pat on the back. We did good. We did good.
Yeah, this is one to be proud of because when we did it with StarLadder, we had all the support of StarLadder. Guests were having to come in for media days anyway. This has been all our own back, talking to players, getting everyone on. A lot harder this way, but we managed to get it done. So on this episode, it's episode 70 now. I can't believe we're on episode 70. Like, we might actually close out the year on 100. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Episode 70 is going to be us looking back at stage 2 of the Cologne Major. The games we saw, the results we got, some of the surprises, some of the negatives, some of the standout players. There's so many moments I've got to mention already. And then we'll be going into our Cologne Stage 3 preview. Obviously, there's only 8 new teams we need to touch on. The opening matchups, just where we think it will go, what will happen. This will be everything you need to know about Stage 3 of the Major, the timings, obviously It's slightly different this time because it's going to be best of threes we're moving into as well. So that adjustment will need to come in from us. But overall, let's start looking back. Well, first of all, give me your initial thoughts on just what we saw from stage 2. Not about teams, not about like crazy details, but just your overall thought on it, the level of competition.
I mean, it was a massive step up. I think, you see even, some of these like teams like Spirit and FUT, when they are in the action, it just becomes dominant from one side, but incredibly, kind of open-ended, incredibly, fight worthy for the last couple of spots. But the competition, I mean, it was such a step up. It was much more thrilling games. There was more action, more of the individual moments kind of shine through. A lot more highlight packages for this stage than the last one. So yeah, it was action packed. I really really enjoyed it, and we obviously got a few surprises, and definitely some letdowns.
Definitely some letdowns, and we'll be going from the bottom to the top in this. And I'm going to start by looking at FlyQuest. 15th to 16th, they went 0-3. For FlyQuest, this was very much the same as Budapest, in my opinion, right? We looked at stage 1, which FlyQuest went through very swimmingly in Budapest. Netic, Vexite dominating, looking strong. Then we come into stage 2, and the same problems happen. The way that Vexite was playing, that Netic was playing, doesn't work out. You can look at the numbers, and say, oh, well, it's like an obvious drop-off. But it shows because the only person who held their own was JKS, who is obviously more experienced, one of the players living in Europe out of the team as well. But he's someone who can hang at that level, and you can just see the gap is maybe too big. You can't get away with doing the same things like you were before. Like their run, it was pretty tough. You got 9Z who's on the up, right? Straight into Legacy, and then you play Pain. And I mean, you don't win a whole map. You play 4 and you're out. And again, you don't look like the FlyQuest we saw making it through on stage 1. So I can't say I'm surprised by this. Some people thought I was crazy to put them as my 0-3, but I just had a feeling the same thing might happen. And it's because they're also not getting to do as many big events, right? They're not going to play so many S-tier events and have that experience. So then they're not going to have leveled up from when we saw them last major.
No, I mean, to one degree, I do think that they have kind of stepped up a little bit. They didn't get thrashed in all games. They didn't look like completely lost. They still gave themselves a fighting chance around the mid mark of most of their games. And then it kind of, was out of their reach at some point. But it's not, a step up that's needed to be competitive in stage 2. It's a small step up. It's not getting completely dominated kind of step up. But not a surprise at all. I mean, it's hard when you look down the list of these players or teams. It's some of the best teams from stage 1, some of the most impressive ones. And you see here, like, FlyQuest, unfortunately, are the obvious kind of weakest link if you look at the whole team list. And it's hard for them with practice, with everything. They kind of need to, if they want to have a chance again at a major and do well in stage 2, you kind of need to see them participate in more tournaments, maybe relocate to Europe, actually get into the same grind. Because I mean, I think there's no question that there's talent in that team. There's quality in that team. It just needs to be honed within the European environment of competitive Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and that's it, right? It's about that experience of getting used to it, right? Getting hit as hard as they were, the change up from it as well. And the fact is, when you look down who they faced, right, it's all South American teams who play very aggressive, who are going to take these fights, who are going to have that confidence against you. And when your own confidence starts to get knocked by that, it's a little bit hard to come back. So I think it sucks for them. It's going to hurt them for sure. But the main thing I agree with what you said was needing to be in Europe would be ideal. And I know that's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to have a focus on being able to do that for the next season. It's not so easy. Visas and all this stuff that needs to be worked out. But if they could, then at least it gives them that opportunity to grind and grow. Our next 0-3 team, this one was a surprise for me. This was GamerLegion. And the reason I say I'm surprised is PR warmed up into stage 1, right? We were critical of him because of how good we know he can be. But then, I'm not going to say the rest of the team went missing, but like the rest of the team had just a lower form, you know, and struggled. Now, they can be competitive in some games. We'll ignore the Astralis game. They got blown out of the water. And I actually favored GamerLegion going into that, surprisingly, especially because like they were supposed to be a bit more warmed up and things into it. But this one's going to sting because the potential is there, but it's not coming together at the right time. And I don't know what to put my fingers on for GamerLegion, because I know we didn't expect Snacks to be having crazy numbers like he did in the first stage. But I mean, the res drop off, that's a worrying sign. Towson and Hypex, their numbers are just going to be a result of how badly the results were. But PR was just kind of alone on an island.
And you have to say as well, you know, they had probably the 3 easiest teams that they could have wished for in some regard in their matchup. They played Astralis the first one. Yes, Astralis is great at prepping. They're good at kind of showing up for the first game. That's true, but you should never be in a position where you get 13 forward against Astralis when you're the higher ranked team. By the way, you are the 3rd highest ranked team in this entire stage coming into it.
Jeez,
and this is the showing that you have. You play BetBoom, someone that you should be. I mean, BetBoom were great. There's no denying that. But still, you know, you would still put GamerLegion at least on, you know, a slightly favored angle. They got, you know, not destroyed. It was a competitive game, but they lost it. Then you go to Bait. Well, one could say it's probably the hardest in the 0-2 bracket out of those teams of Pain, FlyQuest, and Bait that they could have got.
Yeah.
But it's still one of the, if you look at it, they played essentially Astralis and 2 stage 1 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they went 3-0 in that. Nothing changed. They didn't really up their opposition in any way. And this is what they showed. I'm very disappointed in GamerLegion's performance, because I would have liked to see how well they actually panned out to play against some of the higher oppositions. Obviously, they weren't good enough to do that this time around. And it's like Snack said, it felt like something, you know, I watched that interview and he basically said, like, just because of Atlanta, it almost, what I got from it, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. This is not a Snacks quote.
You're not quoting
but
it,
what what I got from it was essentially that people got a little bit like almost high on themselves that they were so close to winning Atlanta or come to the final there, that they should win against all these teams. They didn't really work hard enough. They didn't bring as much as they did in Atlanta because they felt like they were already better than the opponents. I think they got into a mode where they overestimated their own abilities and underestimated their opponents. And that's disappointing to see. And hopefully this will be a big lesson for them and a wake-up call that this is not how you treat competitive esports. You know, anyone can be good on the day, and you need to respect your position.
Definitely, and have the right mentality going into it as well. So I think Like if I'm GamerLegion, I don't make a change going into this part of the season. I think you still keep working on it, but you maybe just look at the formula of how you grow as a team, you know, how you develop as a team, because they're going to get some more invites still. Yeah. They'll be in a good position. I think they'll still sit around top 15, 16 when the major's done. I'm just guessing at this point, right? You don't know how well some of the other teams in rankings will do going into stage 3, but they should still hold a respectable position. And now it's how you bounce back from it, because I still think they have good pieces. We've seen it work. So
yeah, I agree with you, and that's why it's so disappointing.
It's not a team. Yeah, and by the way, both the 0-3 teams, I wouldn't be changing any players. Both FlyQuest and GamerLegion. Because everyone would be quick to say, oh, 0-3 at the major in stage 2, like, make a change. But, I mean, I'm actually, with the pieces they have and the players they've got for both teams, I want to see them just keep working forward. And there's very obvious fixes for me that are not involving changing players. That's
no, but I think, GamerLegion has done a brilliant season. No matter what, this was a disappointing major.
Yep.
But they've done a brilliant season. They've kind of come back from the dead, made sure that people knew they were alive again. They've showed some good results because, I mean, they've had 5 months with Snacks. They've changed system, in-game leader, coach.
Yep.
There's a lot of changes in this GamerLegion, even though we see the 4 regular kind of players. No, they got room to grow, and they can be better, and that's why it's disappointing.
Definitely agree. Next, we move into our 12th to 14th teams, and Astralis, man. Now, you start off strong against GamerLegion. We already touched on that in that GamerLegion map, right? You said about the prep and being ready and going for it. Okay, I give them that. 9Z, a very hard team to prepare for, and you're also doing it on the same day in these best of ones. I don't think there's any shame in them losing to 9Z. Maybe the way they lost to 9Z, they won't agree, but this is a 9Z who, in Astana, they went forward and they beat the Falcons, they beat MOUZ, they beat PARIVISION, I believe it was, right? So 9Z deserves some respect. But what is it with Astralis and HooXi and not being able to beat TYLOO? Now, TYLOO, we've been positive about, right? But I mean, Astralis regularly in Europe, practicing strong individuals.
They got destroyed by TYLOO.
No, but bro, it's all the history. They lost the finals of Fissure. They lost. I need to go back and look at it. Every time they play TYLOO, they've lost. They've lost every time.
They've only won. So this
not a single best of 3. Lost the best of 5 final. Lost the best of 3 and a best of 3
and a best of 1 now.
You see, and do you know what you said about the preparation for Astralis and stuff like this? This is a game you had time to prepare for. Yeah. This is when you're moving into a new day, and guess what? I think you can't prepare against the TYLOO. You can have an idea of what they're going to do, but I don't think that like this is a team you can sit down and completely anti-strap. And again, 0. You know, people are talking about Jam Young because he was the highest rated. Sure, over and over again, we do know what Jam Young can do. But 0, he's getting more confident. He's playing more up to the level of what they tried to hype him up to be. And he showed it within this game. And I think for Astralis, this is the one that threw them off a bit, you know? I didn't see an ability for them to bounce back after losing to TYLOO again, even with facing pain for that deciding game.
But I think the most concerning thing is, if you look at Astralis, they played Nuke 3 times. They obviously want to play it. They lost 3 times in this stage. And I mean, you also kind of have to look at the individuals. I'm sorry, but FUSI didn't really hit the ground running. He was, I think, the worst rated player in Astralis, and going from being in such good form, going from being, incredibly hyped when he joined Astralis, put up some great numbers for them, and was a key factor of why they were successful in the start of them joining, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to see, you have Stair, he's on a 117 rating, and the rest of the team is in negatives. FUSI had a 0.74 rating performance over 5 maps.
But do you know what's crazy about that as well, right? Okay, Ryu had one good game, one best of one. I think it was against TYLOO, but obviously it was a losing game as well. So doesn't really matter too much. Yabi, one of the more experienced players on the whole team, not showing up at all. Like, to me, this isn't even a team where I can say like pressure can affect them. Maybe a bit on FUZI and Ryu, but like everyone else should be used to it. And did you read the HLTV interview?
Oh, I missed this one.
Okay, so HooXi did a HLTV interview, and it basically was like he was in shock. He says they're still making so many of the same mistakes, right? Even when they can talk about it and they can go through things as well. He says, and this is the alarming bit. I don't feel like we ever really, after the game against GamerLegion, got into the flow. It just didn't feel good to play. You know?
Yeah. It's. I mean, I
He says
get what the
amateur decisions. He says the word amateur decisions. 3 of your individuals are super experienced, and FUZI isn't a rookie. You know, he's played in every continent around the world.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, and it's so disappointing because it just feels like, again, it depends on the day it wakes up. It's not like if you don't ever get into the flow of things. I mean, it's kind of like individual. You know, at some point you have to step up as an individual, bring the communication, bring the flow, like get yourself. Oh, sorry, an alarm went on. But but you have to make sure that you understand what you need to be at your best. And like he's saying, it's very hard to play, and that's probably, you know, one of the reasons why is because no one is getting into the flow mode, no one's communicating. You're constantly, you know, losing rounds, but no one steps up to bring that extra energy. And yeah, I don't know. It's a massive blunder. It's a massive failure of Astralis. I do feel though that if Astralis qualified for stage 1, they probably would have done better in stage 2. It just feels like they need to kind of have these shit moments in tournaments. They need to have their shit games. But when you come into stage 2, where the opposition is already so high, you don't have time to flip flop in games. You don't have time to have bad games. You need to perform every single chance you get, and they just didn't.
And yeah, I agree they didn't perform in stage 2, but I will also say for Astralis, it's like you got carried a little bit with how well you did at EPL and gaining points, yeah. Last rivals, you only beat FUT, which, yeah, okay, on paper is a rival, but this is Launch not being there, and you're clearly not even close to the class of them. Atlanta, you only beat Liquid and Sinners. So I feel like they were ranked higher than what they should be.
100%.
It's like there was also another comment HooXi made. I think it was, this is off the top of my head, like just feels like the last 6 months they were just working towards this, right? And to go out this way, like obviously was so negative for him. I will say, I feel like HooXi has been more negative and more frustrated in things that happen within this team.
Than we've ever seen.
It is going to result in yeah, but I also think it's going to result in a player change. Hopefully not him, but it's going to have to be someone else.
Yeah.
But then who do they get?
It's definitely not an impossibility. I wouldn't say that Astralis are safe from changes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really know what they should be doing, who they should bring in. They're in a very difficult spot because it's as you say, you know, they are ranked really, really high, and there's a bunch of expectations. There was even some online abuse. You know, I think the CEO of Astralis came out and kind of said, like, lay down on the hate. You know, these are human beings, and I get that. You know, I fully support that. That's great from them. But at the end of the day, you know, they were pretty mediocre, to be frank.
Dude, I saw HooXi, obviously he's been hit by it hard, right? But like the most overrated IGL in CS2, the most stupid dog they're calling him. Then they talk about family members dying and like
that stuff is
the
so
whole
unnecessary.
family. Like it's just like.
It's disgusting.
But the thing is, HooXi's posting it, yeah, and I get it, especially if he's in a negative mindset. It's a horrible thing, but this is what every player in modern Counter-Strike is getting. Every player at the top level, probably, I don't know, maybe even a donk and a Zowie get it every now and again.
Well,
it's
I
not
would
acceptable.
Say
it's not nice.
HooXi is probably the receiving end on probably the most hate out of any individual player is received for the past 10 years.
I'm not saying, right, that it's, unlucky it's you're getting it now.
No, but I mean, it's something that you have to go through. This is the
reality.
Yeah.
This is the reality, and this is why even when you're feeling this, you can't open those DMs, you can't open those message requests, you can't go into it, right?
Yeah.
You need to, like, I have a thing with requests, so I don't even see what's in it unless I need to click into the request and click on the message. I recommend that for all players because then you can just ignore most of it, you know. But like, they're even spamming his comments of posts, old posts, for example. And he said, sadly, at the end, he goes, "We'll take some time off social media, bye," with a peace sign. Now, no players ever deserve any of this. And yeah, you're probably right that he's received more than some. But this has now become such a normal thing within the community because people just think they can say whatever they want online and get away with it. But like, I agree with Astralis' stance on it, right? They need to speak 100%. Up and try and protect their players some way. But also, as an organization, and all organizations should do this, you can't control your players what they do, but remind them in these kind of moments to don't open those requests, don't open those folders, you know? Like, it's such a dangerous thing to play, like any type of social media for players, and you have to have such good mental strength as well.
Yeah,
I don't envy them at all.
Not at all.
So from Astralis, same position, MIBR. MIBR, on the other hand, did come from stage 1, so they did fight their way through for this. Do you know what? I don't think I ever had the expectations that MIBR would make it to stage 3. I think maybe at CAC, I got gassed a little bit about the whole Insani and Klim thing, that they could maybe make a deep run. But they beat Legacy here, which is obviously a domestic rival.
Yeah.
You'll take that in a best of 1. You lose to Spirit 13-1. It is Spirit. I'm like, it's 13-1, but I'm not holding this against them, man. Then they lose to Big, which is like, okay, that's might be tougher one for you to take. And then Bait on their run-up eliminate you. I need to check my pick'ems, like, you can talk a bit about MIBR, but I don't think I had MIBR going through off memory.
I don't think I had either. But
no, I didn't. No.
I mean, I think the one thing you can say about MIBR is they are in a very, very young state of their international project. I think just them kind of shifting into this international lineup, making it to stage 2, I think that's, for me, kind of a seal of approval that, okay, you have something here that is worth building upon, that is worth exploring more, because the last couple of MIBRs have been, atrocious, terrible, and I think there's at least, a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, it's disappointing when you go up against, a Spirit and you're not even on the server. You haven't even logged into your Steam account and all of a sudden it's over. But at the same time, I think it's too hard of a competition to come in and be good on a few maps, not fully ready. They can kind of compete within their own bracket, which is stage 1 of the major, right? But to level up this fast, with all the complications of going from a full Brazilian team to international, different players coming in and out, I think they've done reasonably well. Obviously, the big loss is probably one of the more disappointing for them. I think Bait is, it's a strong team. They played a decent game against them, got knocked out. It wasn't terrible, but I definitely didn't see them kind of reaching stage 3.
Yeah. I think they're where they need to be for this development of them. From like what you're saying and how we looked at them, right? I think I have to admit, after CAC and Insani's performance, I overhyped them in my head. I have more even faith of them in what they do in stage 1, right? But one thing I'm really happy about, I told you last episode, well, not last episode, that was Major, but last preview review, that Venom Zero.
Yeah.
Not getting enough credit because everyone's talking about Klim and Insani. People are going to look at his rating and say, oh, it's just a 0.96 across this stage. But he had some really impactful games. He's really he's an interesting, stable player to be that third one that can step up from time to time and do some damage, right?
Yeah.
And if they can grow with him a bit and he gets a bit more comfortable, then I can see this progressing. I can see this working. But MIBR's a team I'd say, just stick with what you've got. You said it, they're going through the first early development of the right players to work with. And obviously we got the news from G2 that is still trying to sell Klim. MIBR, buy Klim. I know maybe he didn't do so well at this stage.
Yeah.
But if you can get him, stick with this. This is working. If he wants to be there as well, obviously.
No, I mean, I agree. I think they have something going. It's kind of a wonky team to kind of talk about because obviously you have a Russian player, a Swedish player, and 3 Brazilians and a Serbian coach. So it's a bit of a mix in a weird way. But I think they have at least proven to me that it's worth exploring. It's worth continuing. It's worth seeing what kind of potential this constellation has.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think, obviously for the players, as always, I keep saying it sucks that you got eliminated at this point, but they should still see more positives than negatives within this performance for MIBR.
Yeah, I think so.
So from MIBR, we go to M80. Obviously, we had Sin on the episodes before when we were looking at stage 1. They only lost to Bait in stage 1 and then qualified 3-1. Now, the only game they won this time was against Bait in a best of 1. Now, after losing to G2 the way they did, and then you win against Bait, you must have felt so good going into the second day of the major. And BetBoom crush your hopes, dreams. They ripped the soul out of you and any hope that the Germans had of making it through because they got manhandled. They didn't know what was going on in that game. And yeah, it's a best of 1, right? Sure, I can give them that. But then we go into the legacy game and you have a chance to win Inferno. Obviously, we kept talking to Sin about his Inferno, right? And how they're battling with it and what they're trying to make work. But exiting in this stage, I don't know. It probably is the position we would put M80 in. It's not the position they'll put themselves in. But we saw moments where JBA was playing the rounds himself,
Yeah.
Exactly like what Sin told us about how he doesn't need to be micromanaged. They need to give him the freedom. He didn't have maybe the best event, but I mean, I'm seeing the skill set in place. I'm seeing what they're seeing, and everyone's hyping up about him. The only thing I'll say, recent news, I think it was today or yesterday, M80 pulled out of XSE, the Chinese event that's on after the major. And I think this is a huge mistake. Maybe they were gassed themselves on making stage 2 and they have a chance to go stage 3. But because they didn't, they're going to drop down even further in the points. And XSE would have been a great chance to gain so many extra points.
Yeah, I agree. They're in this kind of middle ground, I think currently...
Yeah, 25th right now.
Yeah, 26th, 25th, around that mark. And it's... if bumping up just yourself like 3-4 spots on the rankings has a massive impact. We hear players all the time talk about, that golden line of top 16. That's when you kind of get to pick and choose all the events you want to go. And that's kind of where most of these teams are aiming towards. And yeah, I agree. I think they could have picked up, got an early start, maybe been able to sneak in a tier 1 event, doing relatively well at that CAC, or not CSE, but XSE, yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a bit of a blunder. But I mean, it all depends.
I don't know who made the decision for him though. Can't be, if you're a team who needs invites to the next level of international competition that isn't S tier, you can't make that decision so early on because how it is, by the way, they accepted the invite and then pulled out.
Yeah.
So you could have at least waited to see how your major run would end before pulling out.
That's true. But
you know, they didn't have to do it right this instant. It's
I
weird management for me.
I think it depends a little bit. Like, I could see this. Obviously, we don't have all the information. And looking at the team, the well-being of a team, some of the players, how fatigued are they from the journey that they've had so far? How fatiguing has the major been for some of the players? How much do they need a rest? I think that if we would have that information, we would better understand the decision making here. Because I can only see that being kind of a relevant case for them. Okay, maybe this was the right choice. But if you purely look out of the context of rankings and how they will end up in that sense, I think I agree with you that it's a weird decision, it's a bad decision. But in terms of health of players, you never know. So but it could be.
Don't you think, like, if you're in M80's situation, this is not a team that's going to make changes? I don't think so. I think you just had JBA come in. You're starting to get him used to playing with you and playing the way you want. I don't see any of these players changing, at least for this year.
I don't see changes either.
So then they needed to go to this XSE.
Well,
it's my opinion anyway.
Yes,
I know what you're saying. I completely get you.
Yeah, I've been in multiple teams where you try to push the needle a little bit, or like push your limits a little bit too far, and that can have catastrophical, consequences for your team for seasons to come. Not one season, but multiple, to kind of recover yourself into this position. And it happens to most teams. It's probably the biggest reason why we see some teams kind of fall in rankings or fall out of place is because they try to push their limit a bit too far. It's very, very natural to do that when you are in the top 20-ish position. You want to push yourself a little bit more, that eventually you just break down instead. And I just see that could be a potential reason. But I agree with you, it would be important for them to get the points, be at an event, kind of slingshot themselves a little bit in the rankings. But yeah, I'm worried because I think the point is, like, being an American team, traveling back and forth from there is probably a little bit more fatiguing than we sometimes talk and give credit to, compared to European teams who just it's like taking the bus to an airport, 2 hours away.
Yeah. But it is, I don't know, it is a China event with so many VRS points. I'm just hung up on it because even if they needed to make this decision, I think it would have been better to have waited because it got announced before this all happened,
Yeah, that I can agree with.
A waiting time. But that's enough about M80. We can move on to Pain. Obviously, we spoke to Big Azera. Oh, man, for Pain, I don't know. I think this is a team that has the quality where they should be in stage 3. They started off so bad. And, dude, I don't understand what they were doing. Like, you can lose the opening game to TYLOO. Yeah? Opening best of 1, sure. But then, in a best of 1, they play Overpass against Big. Now, I don't rate Pain's Overpass that good. But I know Big can play it. Yeah? And it feels like this, you could have gone somewhere else with this, I'm
actually going to look at the veto side to side as you're talking about this. Just pulling it up.
This when I saw this veto before the game happened, I was already uncomfortable that Pain was going to be playing Overpass against Big. Because I don't think this is in the wheelhouse of where Pain is comfortable.
True. But let me just pull this up. I need a new window. I just want to check a little bit stats based on both teams here. So Big obviously went down the list. They removed the Anubis. They removed the first pick of Nuke from Pain.
Pain loves so much. Yep.
Which only really leaves Mirage Dust 2 Overpasser Inferno. Inferno of Pain has been weak in recent times.
But
They've
they
only had 2
removed
wins,
Mirage.
4
Pain's
wins.
good on Mirage. Am I crazy? Pain's good on Mirage.
They probably wanted a Dust 2 here against Big.
Mm.
And
but
maybe,
then surely you remove Overpass and you leave Mirage and Dust 2 in, and then both, like, for me, that would be, because they said about having a veto problem, right, on choosing sides, which is why, obviously, I think they ended up on the T side. I think it's this map that was the one that went wrong. Maybe there's so much that's happened, maybe I'm wrong. But basically, Rix, the coach, spoke about how something didn't go correct when he was touching sides, because, they use the iPad and the pressing to make it go through.
Yeah.
When they're doing the veto online. But even with that, like, still, man, I don't know. I didn't see Overpass as a good idea for these guys.
I mean, starting T side on Overpass is generally a bad idea. I love it, but it's generally a bad idea.
You see? So, just looking at Payne's run overall, right?
Yeah.
When they get into the best of threes, I started to believe they were going to do it. 2-0 FlyQuest, 2-0 Astralis. They're getting to play nuke. Even when Astralis, by the way, can play a good nuke, or could play a good nuke, obviously, prior to this major. Then they go up against Monte, and Monte slapped them on their nuke. And remember, we spoke to Big Azera about this, that like, we're kind of stuck into picking our nuke, but we've changed some of the positions. We're trying to get people playing well. Snow played pretty good. Safe was the most consistent across the whole team. But I don't know, man. I'm going to say, like, this last game, I don't care if Dust 2 was close. I expected more from Pain. So I was impressed that I thought they were going to come back from 0-2. And the way they fell in the end was just like letting me down a little bit. And letting themselves down, because they Big Azera said stage 3 is a must to us.
Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough for Pain. I mean, obviously going down to 0-2 early on in the best of ones is obviously what screwed them. They needed to pick up that TYLOO win. They needed to be in the upper side, and a Big that obviously want to come back and do well at this major was probably also like, I don't know. I mean, overall you should be disappointed by Pain. I think if we really look at it, they probably, I mean, they had the weakest opponents they could get in this stage, pretty much.
Especially because they're good teams that they're used to playing normally, right?
Yeah, they played TYLOO, they played Big, they played FlyQuest, they played Astralis, and they played Monte. You should, if you're Pain, pick up 3 wins from these games. I'm sorry. I'm sure they feel exactly the same thing. They are supposed to be better than some of these teams. I mean, they got the lowest ranked, the next lowest ranked, the third lowest ranked, and the 5th lowest ranked team in the stage.
Crazy when you say it like that. Crazy when you say it like that.
Yeah, and then Astralis as well, which was obviously the 4th highest, but they are a weak.
They're not in that. Yeah. We already spoke about their not playing to their rank.
So in that sense, this is a disaster. I mean, if you purely look at it from that standpoint, I think it's a disaster. They should qualify. They had a quote unquote easy route, and they didn't manage to grab the opportunity. Obviously, Monte played great, but if you just look at the standings, I didn't expect Monte to go through. Definitely not. I think I even put them on 0-3, if I'm honest.
I put Monte 0-3, bro. Yeah. Wait, we'll get onto Monte later. But yeah.
but
I mean,
Pain should be at stage 3. They should be disappointed for not making it. And yes, it probably has a little bit to do with the run out of steam. When you go into that 0-2 bracket, you don't have room for any mistakes. And you don't have room to kind of bounce back and fix some of things. You kind of just rolling on momentum, and that can be incredibly difficult to kind of do that reverse sweep. So I understand the position they came in, but it's not good enough for Pain.
No, definitely not. Question for Pain though. I don't think they should make a change. but they haven't been ones to make some wild changes. And are they going to keep Safe, who was best
He was the
performer in
best
this
player.
stage? Is he who they want? You know, we spoke about him being a different type of AWPer with Big Uzera. So I guess they are still in a bit of limbo about what will happen going into the rest of 2026.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, the thing is, obviously,
Snow played better.
we talk to Big Uzera, obviously, and he doesn't want to waste time. He wants to be good. He wants to be good pretty much now. The question is, are we, potentially seeing him take a step back? There's, obviously he wants to be around the kids more and all of that sort of stuff. So it's.
But he said, what, 2 years? He's still got it, at least. He's got goals.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go.
But it's you never know what these massive disappointments can do to a person. So
true.
We'll see. But
true. We will see. We will see. Rostermania will be starting soon. That's no doubt. It's already actually underway. People didn't get it. We'll start hearing some rumblings based on these results and stuff. Another team actually in the same mentality where I don't think any changes are needed is TYLOO. TYLOO's run was not bad, People had them in the 0-3 from the very beginning, People did not have them doing well. Obviously, I'm a bit of a TYLOO believer. They beat Pain in the opening game. They lost to FUT. They beat Astralis. I think the last 2 games are disappointing that, like, TYLOO's style doesn't work well against South American teams.
yeah.
And South American teams don't respect TYLOO in any way, right? They will just play that heads-up Counter-Strike into them. They'll catch them while they're mid trying to execute or go into a round. But I feel like 9th to 11th in stage 2, yes, it's not what TYLOO wanted. 0 was still impressive. Jamyoung's on a league of his own, right? G had a better stage 2. I'm not talking about numbers wise. I can't even remember what his stage 1 numbers were, but I said I needed to see more from him, right? To be there with Jamyoung and to be there with 0. But I think G's consistency is certainly a problem with map to map, game to game.
Yeah.
0's learning and growing, and I like the development I'm seeing. And Jamyoung is just so solid. So I like what we have with this TYLOO. I don't have any problems with it. And they were still 1 game away from making it.
Yeah, I think
it's not bad.
It's
given who they faced.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I mean, considering a lot of people probably put them in the 0-3 bracket, you look at community expectation on them, they probably did reasonably well to even put themselves in a position where they could have made it to stage 3. They are a bit, hot and cold. Will tell you that. Some games they look amazing, and some games they look really, really flat. And that's probably something they, I think there was an interview where they said that they didn't have time for a boot camp or something like this in Europe, which...
Yeah, because they had to play ESL Challengers to get the spot at ESL Pro League, which obviously they did win. They beat Semper 5-3-0. So I spoke to Jack about this. I don't think it was an interview, right? I messaged Jack and we spoke about it on the podcast. So they couldn't go boot camps because they had to get that EPL spot. And then after they got that, they then came to Cologne and played stage 1. So it's always tough for them because they need to fight for these spots. But one thing which is really good, VRS right now, they're 22nd. They've gained a lot of points. Obviously, they will go down further when we see the stage 3 teams play. Some of the stage 2 teams who have gone through to stage 3 might do well at the same time. But I think they can be not happy, but okay with what they showed. And again, it's the same story for TYLOO. Every time I talk about them, mate, they need to go to Europe. They need to boot camp. They need to play there. They need to grind. It's a must if you're an Asian team.
Yeah.
Same for North American teams.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I think respectable run, but yeah, they need the European practice. Maybe some South American practice.
Yeah, definitely some South. I think when they play the South American teams, just don't show them respect. Go into the server because you're also some aimers on that team. Go in there and say, I am going to shoot them. I am going to fight harder. I know it sounds very basic analysis, but it's like you need to be able to fight them because they're going to fight you all the time. They're going to press you all over the map.
Yeah,
So
and you have
you
to
should
slow
be
them
aware of
down.
what's going on. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's classic, you know. You're playing these very full throttle type players. You need to show them
Non-stop.
that they can't be cheating. They can't be taking space every opportunity they get. You need to be able to block them. You need to pull off some crazy play and kind of find out where they are cheating corners, because of that's essentially what aggression is. You're cutting corners to be faster, pick a timing to, you know, all of that, and you need to be
Beat
ready
the
for it.
predicted timing.
You really do. It's really hard to do when you, especially when you go down in games, to kind of bounce back from that. And there's not that many solutions you can do in a sense. You need to find the timing and take the initiative, because they are so great at doing that themselves, that you need to kind of find a good timing to be aggressive yourself. But nonetheless, you know, I think we can move on to Big.
Yep. Oh, bro, Big. I thought they were going to do it again.
I was
hoping.
this
was a crazy, dude. The fact that they were the last game again, of the stage, and they're going up against Bait. Now, Bait is obviously a very good team. Bait end up winning that one, but like, I just felt like we'd get some of that magic again. This is going to be disappointing. It's going to be very sad for Big, right? But they got a bit of what they wanted as this team.
I think
they lost to Monte in the opening best of one. They beat Pain and MIBR. Got slapped around a bit about G2. There was a huge skill gap there, but you were competitive. Honestly, I thought they were going to win the final map of Dust 2.
I thought so. They started so
didn't
well.
come together.
Started so well. I think they had 6-0 or something like that on their CT side, and then, you know, Bait kind of came into the game. Obviously, a massive performance from Sissy, who we've been putting a little bit of a question mark on. But I think for Big overall, I see this as a massive, like, they are the biggest winners of stage 2, apart from, you know, the teams that obviously qualified. But I think even, you know, some of the qualified teams, Big, are still bigger winners. Just because they barely qualified, they barely started this project. They showed themselves and they almost made it to stage 3 of the major in this short amount of time. If you remember back where they were not even in people's thoughts anymore. It was like an old memory. You like, are they still around, you know?
Yep.
And now they show themselves they can be relevant in the top echelons of Counter-Strike, and I'm all for it. I loved watching them play. Love you know, this iteration of Big. I think they played some good CS, and yeah, I hope to see them more again. I think we're going to see them in the next season, considering how they played. Yeah, they're probably one of the weaker teams in this stage, but overall they showed better quality than most people expected, and for me that's a big win. It's a plus in my book. It's something they can build on. So yeah.
How many times could you say Big while talking about
Big?
Big? I was starting to count. No, I think there are some flaws to their game. Yeah. Obviously, they're trying to play the 7-map pool. They're trying to grind up and go up against an extra level of competition. If you just look at who they played, right, they didn't have the toughest teams. Yeah. Because like MIBR, Pain, Monte right now, not too impressive. Bait as well is obviously on the up. We've spoke about them. But I just saw such a big skill gap between them and a team like G2.
Yeah.
That it shows me there's still a lot of room for them to grow. but I haven't had time to read it yet. The Tabson interview just came out while we were starting filming this, but just the headline says, "Sucks to lose, but I'm really proud of the team." And I think that is a perfect headline. I'm really proud of the team because this was, like Tabson told us when he did the interview, if people didn't watch it, it's amazing because he said, we didn't even think we had a chance of being in Cologne, yet they still did it.
Yeah, I mean,
and they dreamed of going to stage 3 and there being a small crowd for them, especially a
they
lot
were
of
talking
Germans,
about
right?
the next major maybe being a possibility.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
building something long term, and that's why, having this small sample size of success, I think, is a great thing in their progress.
Yeah. It's something they can build upon, right?
Yeah, now I
That's for
used
sure.
small instead of big.
Was that tactical or just off the brain?
It just came to me, man.
Just came to you. All right. Next team, and we're getting into our qualified teams now. Monte.
Yeah.
Now, I know the Monte guys pretty well, right? BMAS, Gizmi I spoke to a lot. Afro from his time on Fnatic. I'm just going to say this. The general manager, I didn't even know he was the general manager of Monte, by the way. Let me just go through. Let's find out what he said to me. He came to me on Twitter and he said, his name's Monte Dance, and he goes, 0-3 in stage 3 again. Now, I told him, I just had to set him right. Yeah. I understand it. You want to be edgy on social media. But I said to him, come on, mate. I was praising and hyping up Monte so much. I was doing that back at Blast. We were doing it on the podcast, right? Gives me as an IGL. BMAS, someone I know very well. But I saw them in Astana, and I thought they looked terrible. And I saw, looking at the stats, Azuwu. I said this, I think last time, this player is going to be kicked. Like, no good is coming of this player being on the team. He is the biggest weakness. Bro, I'm going to look at the stats now. Let me give you the numbers Azuwu had. He was the highest rated player for Monte.
Yeah.
He's never played like this. This Azuwu, and
I
they
was
said,
about
by the way, in
to
an interview,
put brakes on you there.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but go look at his event history, yeah? Look at all the bigger events he's played in. So Blast Bounty, 0.84. EPL Stage 1 and 2, 0.78, 0.73. Astana, 0.79. Anything where there's tougher teams, he was dog. He was not good. And I'll say, I can apologize to you, Azuwu. You worked on yourself, and they said the coach was really working with Azuwu. So Kakafu was focusing on him. To go into stage 2 of the major, play the way you did, and drop a 1.23 rating while being the best player on the team, I never expected that in a million years. It shocked me. So if they've unlocked him, fair play. They pushed G2 to multiple overtimes to their absolute limits. They took a map off BetBoom, and they
won against Legacy.
Demolished Pain in the end of it. Yeah, and they won against Legacy. They won against Big as well. Like, their run is legit. They may have gone through on the last position, but that doesn't matter to me if something has changed within the team and the experience they gained, because the team I saw back in Astana showed me that while you may be a tier 2 team, going to tier 1, you're not ready. Well, let's see. I don't care if you even go 0-3 next stage. That doesn't bother me. Like, you already did better, and you showed you could actually enhance and grow a player.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think, I watched a little bit of Monte, and the calling is really good. Like, it's really good. It's annoying. It's, faking out, building patterns. It's, all these aspects that is a mark for a consistent T-sided team. I think they do those things, and I think they do them well. It's kind of like, Gizmi's learning about the mind games we talked about with Major, for example. They're hitting B like 4 times in a row, but kind of changing a little bit of pattern recognition. Gizmi being aggressive up short, kind of forcing people back, and it's really paying off. And I think it's a consistent way of playing, and I love what I saw from them. Obviously, I didn't expect them to be this good either. I had them in 0-3. They surprised me. I really liked what I saw. In that pain game, in that on Dust 2, I think the calling was really what pushed them over the line. Even though they only got 5 T rounds, they were competitive in most rounds. They were, playing consistent on Counter-Strike, and I like that about them. I think, they had a massive win, and as you said, the run is legit. There's no denying that.
Yep.
They beat Big, they beat Legacy, they pushed G2, they beat Pain in the best of 3. A lot of good things will come from this, and I think they came into this tournament kind of grinded from the ranks of 20 to 30. Now, after this stage, they gained a massive amount of points. They gained 71 points. It's the most out of all teams. Oh no, FUT actually gained the most, but the second most then out of all teams in stage 2. They got up to rank 19 now, which is massive for them. I mean, if they could get a win or two in stage 3, they could be looking at that. But they could be looking at that top 16 position, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It will this stage has wild. Put them where they will be able to play in tier 1 events the next season, and that's crazy.
And I also like the fact that some people like to say that they were just like an aggressive team, but I feel like they can switch it up however they need. They seem to be very in tune with each other, that they can have a pace change, they can have a style change depending on the game. I want to give a quote from a little bit finishing off on a Zowie, right, while you were talking there.
Yep.
They asked him on the HLTV interview about what changed his performance, and they said, our coach has been working with him a lot, so well played, Kakafu. Whatever you did, well played. And they said, we all want a Zulu to do well. He's in star roles. He's our entry, and he's super important person for the team. Our coach has been working with a lot, and I've been looking at how I can activate him in strats. But at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to him, especially in Astana, which is what I looked at. But then in some past games, he was probably giving away entries too easily, not making things hard enough for the opponents. We spoke a lot about that, and he's really stepped up a lot on this. Of course, he's shooting hard as well. That always helps. As for him personally, I don't know. He's actually ill right now. God, he's ill and doing this. So maybe that's the solution. Just being ill, and then he's wrecking everyone. Obviously, you don't want him to be ill the whole time, but it's a funny way of doing it. But I'll say this. I'm happy if I'm criticizing a player based on what I saw at previous events, and he deserved that criticism, especially with the roles he has, right? But if you can be that player that changes it, you have my respect. If you can grow, if you can learn, if you can improve, and it not just be for one event, then fair play. Then you're fighting for your position, He probably realized himself that I could be getting kicked, As Monte started to gain ranks, they're also being talked about a lot more, and he's in the position he's in. It's a lot of fighting for that spot, So, yeah, let's see what they can do. But overall, impressive from Monte. So, welcome to stage 3, a very well-deserved stage 3 as well.
Yeah.
Next is Legacy. Legacy came through today as well. You always said it, Devilwalk.
I did call it. They were my only locked in at 3-2. I knew this would happen.
Yeah. You said there's no way they're going 3-0. They're not the surprise factor team. The one thing that's impressive, I know it's only M80 and TYLOO, but they did 2-0. They didn't drop a map against these guys, They had their overtime, but I mean, it is a Legacy way that they would normally win with always playing 3 maps with it, and giving away something. But their run was losing to MIBR was probably a bit of a shock, because MIBR's domestic team, beating FlyQuest, closely losing to Monte, then beating M80 TYLOO. It's not the most impressive run. You dodged all the really, really good teams.
No, but it's so Legacy.
It's because it doesn't matter who they play. They'll play the same way.
They can lose to anyone, but they can win against anyone.
Yeah. So by the way, they are just doing as you analyzed.
Yes.
I don't have so much to say about Legacy. I'm not even that critical of them.
I'm just saying, because I fucking called it, man. I knew they would go 3-2.
But do you know what? It's so crazy that in any given game, some madness happens. Yeah. It's never a comfortable game, even with a good scoreline. You're always on edge watching Legacy and seeing what can happen.
Which is the lovely thing about Legacy, right? It is it's
It is
fun
if you're not
to
a fan of
watch,
Legacy.
no
If you're a
matter
fan
what.
of them,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of them, it's stressful as hell.
You probably need to buy medical insurance for potential heart failures. But
definitely.
Yeah, I expected no more and no less of Legacy than going 3-2. But I will say,
they did what they're supposed to do.
Art looks better and better as an individual player. I don't know exactly what his stats were. He was the second highest rated player of the team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my god, him and Lato. Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, some of that's the stat padding that came from playing TYLOO.
But I think his entry stats.
Or was it consistent? No, even TYLOO was only 1.29.
So he obviously had a 117 rating. He had a lot on CT. But if you look at his opening stats for this event, opening kills per round, maxed out at 0.18 per round. Opening deaths, 0.13. Opening attempts, 31.6%. Opening success, 58. Wins after opening duel, 71%. Attacks per round. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's 3.14. But essentially, we're getting an art that is incredibly aggressive in this legacy side, which I think is, a really, really good thing for this team. It's obviously that was like mainly MOUZ and kind of Lato in the old one, but now we see a more kind of maybe clutching and more late round Lato than we've seen in the past, which obviously suits him really well. He's super skilled. He's kind of the star that always delivers for this team, and I think that might even bring him a little bit more consistency, because you now have an art who can take over some of those entry duos going first duties, which obviously is art's kind of comfort role no matter what, right? And we're seeing the best of art in this team, and I love it.
I do love it. And like we said, it's a super entertaining team to watch as well. So welcome to stage 3 for these guys. Next team to look at, Bait. Now, just when I was about to say I'm worried for Sizzy, I think I said it on last episode that, the guys keep telling me he's so good, and we said it. Mechanically, he is very good, but it's like the adjustment and getting used to it. Bro, this guy, he dominated in the last couple of series. He was a huge reason they came through. I don't know, what did he end on? Let's have a look.
The big game. Look at the big game. Just look at the big game.
Dude, he was the highest rate. So, MPL was always consistently highest. Then we had Kenzazor, and I said all they needed was the Sizzy moments to come there. Sizzy ended up being the highest rated player for them. Yes, they came through in the last place.
Look at the overpass, look at the dust.
This is what we're looking for.
So overpass,
That's what they waited
massive
for. That's what they told us about.
Massive reason because of Bait's like CT side and why Big never really got any success on their T side. They just couldn't get through to that A side. Sissy was constantly holding the right angles. I think he got an ace. I think he got a 4K the next round. He was a monster on that A hold. And yeah, he's a big reason why they dominated that overpass. A big reason.
And 16 years old, by the way. First major, rookie, 16 years old, 3-0 in stage 1. Didn't perform too well. Comes into stage 2 against tougher opposition. They even gave FUT, who went 3-0, an incredibly tight game. Like, yes, they dropped a map every single time they played a best of 3, but they went from 0-2 losing to FUT and M80. M80 who didn't make it, by the way, to stage 3, and then beat GamerLegion, MIBR, and Big. Like, that takes a lot of mental strength, and we spoke about them working since the Star Series event before Budapest Major, when they started working with a psychologist. Well, something's working. Something is cooking, because they're not breaking in this. I will say there was a clip. Did you see the clip going around on Twitter about MPL?
No.
Oh, bro. He was talking some shit on Big. Like, here we go. He says, MPL is absolutely 0-2. He goes, I fucked his mum, fucking bastard. Hope you something die. F word slur. Like,
Oh wow.
oh my god. Oh my. Obviously, it's intense, right? It's the major. But I will say, your voice comms, are always being recorded at these events, and they can play it. And so you tone it down a little bit. I
Is
know,
this
like they were
a
down at the
future
time and trying to
grudge
fight
match,
back in
bait
it.
and big?
I don't even know it's that. I think it was just like the whole situation of being in the major, but that's a lot, man. When I read the translation, I went, "Oh my god!" Like, I didn't expect that from little MPL. I've known this guy since he was a kid. He was just watching Navi the whole time. So yeah, they did it. They got through. And I think it's a good team to have through to stage 3. We spoke about how they were one game away from playoffs last year in Budapest, right? So let's see if Sizzy can keep up this form against elite teams as well now. Like that's going to be the big thing.
Yeah.
But we keep saying it mechanically. That's what they told us. How he's this new generation of young player who can do so good, and just feels the game in a different way. If he's now getting comfortable, this makes Bait a dark horse, not for the whole major, but maybe making a playoff run or getting a few important games. And also, it's going to keep doing very well for the VRS. The major is so important, and they're pulling it together.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely stopped the bleeding. Now they're in the improvement stage and they're growing game by game. Obviously, a great kind of resilience. They went down 0-2 at the start of it, beat GamerLegion in a best of 3. Very close series, by the way. Yep. So they were like a round away from losing to 0-3 and making it to 3-2. And there was growth in their games. They looked better and better every game. MIBR, got a little bit more comfortable. Big got even more comfortable. Obviously, from the back of a momentous CC performance. I think it's a good team to have in the mix. They're always, competitive in their series somewhat. And yeah, I think they've done well considering the position they were in.
100%.
They've done really well.
Looking at another team that continues to do well, 9Z. 9Z obviously impressed us at Astana, making it to quarters. I keep saying it right, but they beat PARIVISION, Falcons, and MOUZ. Now, Falcons and MOUZ, obviously, MOUZ came in with the 2 change players. Falcons just had a Karrigan at that point, but these are some legit wins. They beat FlyQuest, they beat Astralis, they beat TYLOO to qualify. They didn't go 3-0 though, because I missed that one game. They lost to Spirit. Now, I'll say this. I did expect more Devilwalk than playing. No. But I did expect more because of their wins against MOUZ and Falcons in this game. I'm not saying I expected a map, but getting 13-3 and 13-1, it's no disrespect to them. They are going up against the likes of Donk, dropping a 2.55 rating.
This is the best
across the best of 3
I think we've ever seen.
Yes, yeah. No, I know. I'm not knocking any of that, but I will just say, I was hoping they would show a little bit more for me to say, like, oh, you know what? Like, they gave it a good go. It's not a bad mark. They still made it through to stage 3. They did what they needed to do. But it's like, okay, there's definitely a difference here, right? You can't fight. You can't play your style against a team like Spirit. It's not happening. You don't have the individual class or quality yet.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really catch that much of 9C because I did watch the Spirit 9C game, and let's be fair, I
finished quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get to see that much of 9Z. So, unfortunately, I don't really have that much to say about them. Just because I didn't manage to catch their games. They were always in, I don't know what happened, but in an awkward moment for me when I was doing stuff and didn't really catch them.
Yeah, that's fair. There's so many games going on.
But
I couldn't catch all of them when I was traveling, when I've been here in London.
Looking at, their journey, it's still impressive if you kind of scrape off that Spirit match. I was a little bit unsure about where to put them. How good are they? How well are, is this surprise factor going to harm them with how they're playing? But they're obviously still an incredibly annoying team to play against for a lot of the teams that are close to them in terms of rankings. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in stage 3. And yeah, maybe we'll see an upset or two, because they have that in them, right? And that's probably why you talk about the disappointment of the Spirit game in some sense.
Yeah, well, just, also when you've seen Astana and they could fight Falcons and they can fight against MOUZ, it just gave me some belief that they'd have a little bit more. 2-0 is still what I would expect, but with some more rounds, with some more ability to fight within it. But they weren't ready for what hit them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing them for it either, but making it to stage 3 shows that they are still this contender team that can push on forward.
Yeah.
So next is BetBoom. BetBoom, bro, from 3-0 in stage 1, lose the opening game against Spirit, the whole MongolZ versus donk thing of being friends and always playing Face It together, Donk wasn't letting up on anyone, obviously. Then they beat GamerLegion, they 13-2 M80, and then it's 3 maps against Monte, but it's like a good series, and I just think Boomich is cooking. MongolZ was dominant. He was the second highest rated player of the whole tournament.
And they played Spirit.
The whole tournament. And they played Spirit, right? So this is something where you can say, okay, they did really well. And again, Flammus standing in, doing what they need, showing that he is a player that if BetBoom aren't By the way, I'll say this now. I know they might want Siren back. Maybe they remove Dillades afterwards or whatever they're going to decide. If you're BetBoom, you keep Flammus, surely. Even if you're not thinking about making changes. This guy has got you to the major.
I'll go as far as they probably want to keep Dillades as well, considering how well they're playing and how competitive they actually are, even in stage 2, because they looked like, there was nothing else but qualifying. They were, you look at M80, 13-2. You look GamerLegion, comfortable 13-9. Monte, obviously, there was a little bit back and forth, but it was a controlled game by BetBoom. It wasn't like Monte was ever showing, okay, we're going to beat BetBoom throughout this. I felt like they had control on Nuke, they had control on Dust 2. So they could be a scary team. Like, honestly, they could be a scary team even for some of the stage 3 teams.
Yeah, I'd give you that. And I think it's very impressive to go all the way from stage 1 to stage 3 now. Like, it's a really strong performance from them.
It's super impressive.
Let's see how far they can keep going.
Yeah. And MongolZ, I think also small note on him, because he's obviously been hyped up for a long time about being this incredible talent from Russia, right? I think we talked about him. It was 3-4 years ago or something.
When we did the 2v2 Cup as well, we saw the 2v2 Cup.
And I've always tried to keep a little bit of an eye on him and see how good he actually is. And you know what weird feeling I get when I watch him? I get a little bit of a flusher in him. I get a sense of flusher in this guy. Because he's so incredibly calm. He's smart in clutches. It feels like he gets easy kills to some degree because of how he positions himself and stuff. And I'm finally starting to see, what the hype was about with him. Because previously I was a little bit, I see it, but not enough. But now it feels like he's starting to really show the potential that everyone's talking about, and I'm all here for it.
Definitely interesting to see what they can do going into stage 3 next. So from there on to G2, a lot of people had these guys going 3-0. They were close to it, right? But Monte almost upset them. I think G2 did start off strong. That Monte game was very worrying, but the fact they were able to pull that off was a good sign, right? It's one they can be proud of. To have Nertz and Hunter as your highest rated players is not what I was expecting. That is not what I would have put there. Nertz definitely, like we spoke about him getting more comfortable.
Like
he's back. Are we saying he's back?
100% back.
Yeah,
100%. He looks
back.
comfortable. He spoke about interviews, about obviously having an IGL and a coach really, really believing in him.
We also heard from Heavy God, by the way, didn't we, about how much of a voice he has on his position in the map and calling the way he wants to play. So if they've got that belief in him and that trust in him, he's going to have more confidence to make these calls and go forward, which is huge.
Yeah, I see this as, this is an improved G2, even though, they lose against FUT, but I think, any team in the world can lose to FUT on any given day, so there's really no negatives for G2 in this stage, even if they finish 3-1. I look at this could be a good major, at least a stepping stone for G2 going forward. I think because we talked about G2 in the sense of like, oh, they are going to be the gatekeepers. They're always going to be, the team that kind of holds the playoff positions for events, and they haven't really lived up to that expectation with the previous lineup with MOUZ was in it, etc.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to feel like, okay, now they are where the position we kind of thought they would be at. And I can see them going even further because they looked really good. They looked really, really good. And obviously they had a close series against Monte, but when you have a Sampayas dropping a 140 rating in a map against Monte to kind of carry them through, he's definitely not, in my opinion, the strongest tool they have in that lineup. And it's good to see everyone kind of contributing to the run here. And it's good to see that if everyone can show up for stage 3, they can be a danger.
Definitely. And looking at that FUT game, did you watch it?
I watched some of it. I did not watch all of it.
Bro, I watched all of it, and it was so exciting from start to finish. Like, Demon is back on his, I wouldn't say his absolute A game, but looking really strong throughout. And the thing that impressed me most is that they still bounced back from the overpass, where they could have made overpass more competitive. It slipped away from them.
Yeah.
But then they just absolutely dominated on Ancient.
I did watch
Symmetry wasn't the highest rated player.
Overpass.
Some of his individual holds was crazy strong. Like, he can just position himself really well on B sometimes, looking towards cave, towards ramp, and locking it down. It felt like G2 wasn't ready for the amount of map control that was taken from them at times.
No, but they also
honestly,
they are so instinctive. You saw so many like retakes on Anubis where, on the CT side of FUT, G2 put themselves in a great position on B sides a couple of times, and FUT just run at them. Like, there's no breathing space for G2 players. They were baiting and jiggling the right moment, and people flash pushing through smokes, and it was relentless to some degree, and that's what's scary about them, right? That's what's so dangerous about them, because they don't give you a chance to breathe.
We're kind of going away from G2 now, so let's just go straight on to FUT from this. I think it just works out perfectly. FUT went 3-0. FUT's run was really solid. Like, 13-11 against Bait was a tough first game, but they got into it. Remember, there are 4 major rookies on this team, right?
Yeah.
Only Lounge with the experience. Then they beat TYLOO, okay? Not the toughest opposition, but you got to face who you face. And then you do this onto G2. Dude, it's the way they refrag and the synergy and just I know it's coming down to communication, but it feels like effortless communication, Like, Krebeni can die when he's outside cave on Ancient, but then they reposition themselves perfectly to get the next refrag. They know what to anticipate. They know, like, they are so well put together from the years that the core 4 have played with each other, and Launk's now fitting in really strong. Like, anyone on that team can play fantastic on any given day, right?
Yep.
I mentioned Demon because he actually stood out and popped off to what we know from him. But Krebeni is the definition. Obviously, he's from Kosovo. He's going to be aggressive and stuff, but he is doing this as an IGL.
Yeah.
He is playing so well individually as an IGL and calling around his team. He'll put himself in an awkward position on a map and let his team do the rest of the work for him. They'll make the right, like, I know I'm probably overhyping the team a little bit, but we've seen them have good performances. We've seen them win an event already. And for 4 major rookies to come through and go 3-0 and not crumble under the pressure, it doesn't happen often. We don't see this often. And I think, I said it last time, I said they will go playoffs. This is my team. I think we'll go playoffs. I don't know how much further they can go from that, but Jesus, keep an eye on these guys, man, because there's not any weak link on this team.
No, definitely not. And, they play with that naivety that Major spoke about in our cash up with him. And it's incredibly difficult to counter, but it's also, they got a weird kind of, I guess, issue where that naivety is also what kind of makes them lose games at times, when everything isn't clicking, when everything isn't in shape, or when someone tries to cheat a little bit towards a bomb site to get that perfect execute timing, where they reveal information. But overall, there's not that many, individually speaking, they don't have flaws. It's more that maybe sometimes they're doing it a bit too quick for them, for their own good. But I definitely see them, as you say,
tripping over themselves because of how fast they're going with it all. Yeah.
That's the only issue, and that's a kind
but they make up for some of those mistakes with how sharp they can be, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You see them go into some bad situations where they fall into the wrong site sometimes, and yet a player will clutch them out of it just on the raw skill of it. Yeah. So they've got that buffer that saves them that some teams still lack,
Yeah.
All right, and our final team to review in this, mate, Spirit.
I'm high on Spirit. I was before, but let's just honestly count the amount of rounds they lost.
Don't count. Have you already done it? Because I was going to ask you, how many rounds do you think they lost?
Okay, but I kind of semi-counted already.
Damn it. Okay. I was going to ask you to see if you could guess. They lost 10 rounds in 3 maps of play. They played BetBoom, MIBR, and 9Z. Obviously, 9Z and BetBoom making it through to stage 3 anyway, so that's pretty legit. They dominated. And Donk, why we hype him up so much, he is the highest rated player of this stage, 2.27 rating. The closest to him is MagnoJez, 147, and then Tanir, 145. Shiro was also 133.
Yeah, but
this was ridiculous.
But we have to talk about their coach, Jabish.
Your favorite. He's got his own page now. You even tweeted about him.
Yeah. I mean, his worst map is Mirage, and it's 100% win rate. That's pretty impressive, in my opinion.
Pretty goated coach.
No, but they look incredible. I cannot wait for Spirit to play a Vitality. No matter where they play them, I would love. I don't care if it's a 2-0 game. I don't care if the playoff. I don't care if it's the final. I want to watch that game so bad, because I could see this Spirit making potentially a win against a Vitality. I mean, it's big words.
Major winners early. Are you trying to call the major winners early?
It's big words, but I love what I'm seeing.
Answer me.
I mean, I think it's a toss of the coin at the moment, but maybe I'm too high on Spirit.
Because obviously they dominated this.
Yeah, and we're yet to see the full strength of Vitality, but yeah, there isn't a better way for you to go through stage 2 and enter stage 3. I mean, this is probably best case scenario for Spirit overall. They start in stage 2 instead of stage 3, and they just get to demolish people, get used to the setups for 15 minutes and get out of there and be ready for stage 3. It's like, I don't know. I think this team
almost perfection
goes into stage 3 with so much confidence, and I also think that the stage 3 teams They have to put respect on Spirit's name. They have to fear them. They look at this and go, "Oh my god, Spirit are coming in and they're fucking bulldozing their way to playoff."
Definitely.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they 3-0 the next stage either. Let's wait and see. But it's definitely very possible. So with that, stage 2 was obviously very exciting. I feel like we got a great set of teams to join stage 3.
Yep.
All ones that deserve to be there. I feel like we finally got like such a higher level of skill. Even the weaker teams, right? You may have predicted some of them, say the FlyQuest one, for example, but this was a pretty solid run. I dislike that Valve fucked up by keeping the pick'ems open, so people have been able to cheat their way and change things based on a few hours. Yeah, they left it open. They didn't close it. Valve then tweeted and memed and joked about it. I will say this. I put my video out there. I did not change anything. I kept to my guns. I actually got 7 correct this time as well, so
nice.
I'll probably beat you again. Yeah, I'll probably beat you again.
Yeah.
You're trying to say I didn't beat you last time, but you know,
I'm just saying I don't like this pick'ems.
Oh, yes, I know you don't, but gotta play the game. We don't make the rules. We just roll through it.
I'm not hating the player. I'm hating the game, man.
But yeah, if you're one of the people that changed it after it was left open for a while, I hope you failed your pick'ems.
Yeah, like the one change they did, fuck them.
Yeah, like that was actually regret, because anything can happen, anything can change. You got to stick to your guns with it.
Yep.
I only ever changed mine maybe an hour before. All right, so now we get to go on to stage 3, preview the next 8 teams coming on through. All right, so stage 3 teams, 8 new teams join the fold. And our first one, well, it's not looking too good for them, Devilwalk. They're coming into this where their form is continually got worse. They've seen struggles. The highs of winning an event at the beginning of the year and us getting very excited about PARIVISION has gone downhill. I don't know what to expect from them. They're going to struggle.
They are going to struggle, yes. I mean, I'm just looking at the page of these teams. And where would you put PARIVISION in this list of teams? Like, let's just say, obviously, like the Vitalities I don't even know, man. Like, I could see them even losing their opening game to 9Z.
Oh, I'm definitely predicting 9-0 for PARIVISION, man.
I mean, I could see, the Derby
I like Belchanok
against BetBoom could be a loss. I could see Bait winning. Like, all teams could probably in this stage beat a PARIVISION. Now,
but surely they've had a crazy boot camp and they've just come back stronger. Surely,
yeah,
it's Dastan, it's James, it's the Major. I'm just very worried about the inevitable kicking
going into this stage.
Yeah, it's not a team you want to predict. It's not a team you can't predict them because of the crazy situation they're in. Like, the fall off has to be studied because you never know what you're going to get, and you don't even know which players are going to stay on this team. You know they're 100% making a change after this major unless they win the bloody thing, which isn't happening, by the way. I'll put money on it. They're not winning the major.
No, they are not in my top 5 favorites of winning the major. But I still think they're an annoying team.
Top 5, bro. They're not even in your top 10.
No, but they're looking like one of the weaker teams in stage 3. Let's be honest. I think to some degree they've been figured out. The players themselves started to do, weird decision making. Obviously, had a lot of frustration within the camp of PARIVISION. Rumors to change players. Dastan openly saying in interviews that he can't kick them yet because we're going to the major. There's a lot of issues, and there's not a lot of things pointing to believe in PARIVISION as a team going into this. But
I can only give you one thing. I can give you one thing that the major means so much to Dastan and James that I'm sure they have been in some Dragon Ball hyperbolic time chamber, and these last couple of weeks of non-stop grind could have fixed some of the problems. And obviously, I know Kimmy watches the podcast. So, Kimmy, I'm sorry. I know you're the general manager, you're a friend of ours. We know you. But the positives are not really there for the guys right now because of what we've seen. Like, Zowie is solid, right? Nota's yellow, and Belshanock is depending on what day you get them playing well or what mental state they can be in when all this stuff's going on or potentially going wrong. But it's not a scary PARIVISION anymore, you know? No one's fearing them. No one's... I guess, you know what? The only team that might fear them is Falcons, because they always seem to beat Falcons.
Yeah, but I mean... Yeah, but I don't see Falcons as one of the strongest teams in this stage either way because of the recent change. They have a lot of things they kind of need to iron out. But moving on to like just talking about PARIVISION, I have a really like I have a hard time seeing them go through to playoff. But somehow, some way, there's always an overtime when PARIVISION is around. And
when was their last game?
Last games
22nd of May.
They had MongolZ.
CAC, they still went to China. Yeah.
Lost to MIBR.
So even then, right, if you look at that, they've had 3 weeks. Yeah?
Yeah.
22nd. 1, 2. Just under 3 weeks to be ready for this. Probably 2 weeks on full boot camp. I'm also worried about the energy of the team because they were already struggling with the new players, or sorry, not new players, the young players having this experience of traveling to this many big events and stuff. And then obviously the pressure is high. Like last major, 0 expectations and pressure on PARIVISION. This major, completely different ball game. All eyes are on PARIVISION.
Yeah, and it's a difficult spot to be in, especially when you don't have the references of recent success. Because I mean, looking at the results, obviously, 3rd to 4th in Blast Rotterdam, that was in March, and obviously PGL Bucharest 5th to 8th, then PGL Astana 12th to 14th. The only win they picked up for against Fisher College. They lost to 9C, which is their opening game now in stage 3. Going to CAC, wins against Liquid and Lin Vision, losses against MIBR and MongolZ. Not a lot is pointing towards a great PARIVISION at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if some community people, even in pick'ems, put them on 0-3.
The sad state of affair and the reality of the situation they find themselves in. So let's move on to our next team. MongolZ coming on into it.
Yeah.
Now, MongolZ is also equally disappointing. Yeah?
Equally, I wouldn't say.
Well, the difference, they didn't even win a trophy this year, right? They had a 3rd place at Bucharest where there wasn't that many top teams there.
Yeah.
That was disappointing. They did lose to the overall winners. They didn't even make playoffs of Astana. And then they hit 5th to 6th as CAC champions, obviously eventually losing out to the winners there as well, which is where they're one of the highest rated teams at CAC. This is a, for me, worrying sign. But obviously the whole thing about them not practicing too much, they've definitely practiced before the major. That's when I do expect them to come alive. They proved us all wrong last time. Controllers making it to a major playoffs, right? Cobra is looking sometimes individually crazy sharp, but I guess I'm still worried about what MongolZ is going to turn up and how good they can actually be and what this MongolZ even looks like after the major, depending on people's motivation and what they want on the team, you know?
Yeah, to some degree, I think in the same levels as you, but at one point, I think maybe you are talking about MongolZ like they still are a top 3 team in the world, and that's why they are disappointing. For me, They
Well, this is exactly where you
aren't.
said they'd be. You were correct. Yeah, because you told me what, top 10?
Yeah, like around top 10 a little bit, fifth, maybe, I think I said something around like around the ranking they are. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but my feeling was that I'd more hovering around the top 10 than in the top 5. I'd be surprised if they got
Mm-hmm.
into top 5 again. But I mean, I see MongolZ as kind of like a 2-2 team in this bracket. I see them as a middle of the pack. They
Yeah.
can be very strong. They can have good maps. They can definitely beat some of the better opponents compared to themselves. But they can also, have some weak performances. I could see them, it's such a strong list of teams that I don't really know where to put MongolZ. I mean, I could
Yeah.
see them go 1-3 and 3-2, something in between there. Is where I'd put MongolZ. I don't think they'll go 0-3. I think they'll definitely win a game. I'm even not sure if they'll win their opening game, but I definitely see them around the middle of the pack. I'm not super confident in them. Love to see them play good, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it's fair. It's very fair. From Mongols, we go to MOUZ. And this is, remember, now a MOUZ with a different lineup again. Because Brolan is back only for the major. He will not be the IGL. Xerxen will stay as the IGL. JL will not be there. Brolan will be there. Zelex is having his first major and being the rookie coming through. Torji says he wants to get him his first major playoff appearance, right? And for him to have a good time and get some experience. Obviously, he's a countryman, right? Both from Hungary. I still think, no matter what MOUZ are doing, even with this change, even with Brolan not being IGL, they can still be a playoff contender. And I'm most just going to be looking at how well can Zelex play at his first major, but also can Xerxen keep up that crazy fragging IGL moments he was doing? Because he said he wants to be a different kind of IGL, prove a point. He's been doing it so far, but still, they're the kings of third places, right? When you look at them, when you see what they did with a JL run, third place in Astana, third place at CAC, how far can they go at the major?
I have a different perspective on MOUZ, and I might be completely wrong here, but I don't see them making playoff.
Ooh.
I mean, they obviously have a
Ooh.
good system. They obviously have good players, but I think this like going back and forth, players, Roland coming in, Xelex, they need to find the balance of roles again, and I just think that's I don't see it as a good recipe for success for this major. They're obviously doing it for the long term, and I think that they can be punished here. I could see them not qualifying for playoff in this group. I think there's too many well drilled team that when you go back and forth with players at an event where everyone wants to do their best and they're not in a state where they can be their best. I see them. Unfortunately, I see them having less chance than MongolZ of going through.
As a coach and as someone who's been through this many times, in your opinion, would it have been better to have played Xerxen IGL, Brolan at CAC and Astana over JL?
I mean, for the longevity
Like,
of
what
the
would have you done? I'm
team,
not talking.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
done that. I mean, I think this is more of a okay, guys, this project obviously has gone to its lengths and we need to change something, right? And I think they're doing this for the best outcome for their team in the future. But I think short term they will suffer, and sometimes you have to do that. And I think they're doing the right decision. I'm just saying that going into this major, I think they see this more as we need to play this out and we'll do the best we can with what we got.
Yeah. But if you were coach, if you were Psycho,
Yeah.
would you have just played with Brolan at the last two events
No.
anyway and just changed out Jimmy for Zelex?
No. I would definitely not.
What would you have done?
I would have done the same thing. I would have picked the players to play. The ones that I believe could be the future of this MOUZ team is the ones that will be playing the tournaments they should be, like all that they can.
And also,
obviously that's not
because
possible
obviously
for
the
the
jail
major.
situation, but the jail thing hasn't been announced, right? And they may not even get him. So then even during the player break, they would have to try and find someone else at the same time. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty at the same
Well, I think
for all of
they
them.
wouldn't have tested him if they don't at least have the opportunity to think that the pricing is worth it.
Yeah, true.
So I think that he's still, kind of in the cards for them. I don't think that they would be like, okay, Navi said 3 million, so let's trial him. and then it's like, oh, we don't have the money.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
No, no, they would have had a conversation first.
Yeah, so I think there's probably, they are in some sense of an agreement, even though it's not a complete agreement yet.
Okay, well, you're saying maybe not playoffs. I'm saying a 3-2-3-1 team.
Okay.
Personally. Another one who's in a similar situation, mate, is Aurora. Now, Aurora, definitely skilled enough, capable enough to get through the stage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Playoffs, I think, is still not guaranteed. It's one they will have to fight for. They will lose some stupid rounds, some stupid games, but they're really lucky. The best of ones are not here anymore for this stage at all, because then they might get to actually play some more Anubis in their wheelhouse. Yeah, it could go well for them.
Yeah, and I mean, they're also a very hard team to predict in this stage because it is an incredibly like competitive stage, and obviously there's been blips and bad runs for Aurora coming up to this major.
Yep.
I mean, they went to the Dracula, lost to M80, lost to Alliance. All really picked up wins against Sashi and Infinite. Obviously lost to this MOUZ squad twice in Astana. The newly formed one. So they are definitely not 100% playoff for me. They are a 2-2 team. Again.
Yeah.
Middle of the pack. Could be
right
either way. There's too many strong teams for me on this list for them to be like, they're one of the weaker teams in terms of starting at stage 3, right? And that's just how it is. Do they have a chance? Yes. I think a lot of it comes down to how have they repaired themselves from the events that they had, right? How have they recuperated from Astana, Rio, Dracula? Obviously,
how good was that boot camp?
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing is, it seems like they are playing a lot and they're playing intensive, because 6 maps is straight. That's playing intensive. They're ready to play 2 best of 3s every single day.
Yeah,
that's their practice schedule. So I know how much that can give, but I also know how much that can fatigue you going into a major. So
yeah,
I think they're open strong, but might go down a little bit at the end of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Next is FURIA. FURIA, a team that obviously we had one of the best games of the year. Falcons FURIA last season when they played in Astana. They themselves in interviews have come out after Rio and after Blast Rivals saying, we think we fixed it. We think we worked on things, changed the idea of how we want to play. It's very sounding positive, but we're still not seeing the same FURIA where they were one of the favorites for the whole major in Budapest. That conversation has changed massively.
Yeah.
And I know they've been on a boot camp. We saw it from the videos and stuff they were posting. They should be in a good position for it. And also, this is one of the last majors Fallen's going to place over before retiring.
Yeah.
And they've suffered in the VRS. They've jumped down quite a bit in the VRS as well. They are not the same favorite team that they were, but Molodoi has found his form again.
Yeah.
Yuri had a good last event as well. So there are some individual positives to look at here for this team. I do still have high expectations for them. I'd put them in the 3-1 category.
Yeah, I think they should be able to make playoff. How competitive they will be to go for the trophy, I'm not so sure. They will find themselves in a grand final. But I think a lot of it depends. I've always been, how impressive FURIA was last year was a lot because of how well Yuri played. I think obviously that MongolZ was fantastic. His Ratas always, and Jakindar, but having an anchor that produces big numbers has been, I think, one of the keys for this FURIA lineup, and that has been not non-existent, but almost non-existent from Yuri this entire season. And I think
he's not with all these changes, he's not been the same guy.
No.
He's changed around all these changes, He's maybe uncomfortable.
And if Yuri is going to have a chance, I think that a lot, at least of my, where I'm going to look at how comfortable is Yuri. Can he get those 1-2 kills when they're down in disadvantaged situations, holding his site, giving them the chance for the retakes, etc. I think that's where I'm seeing FURIA. Yeah. If he can step up and do well for this event, I definitely see them as a strong team in this field. They are incredibly, well drilled. They're good at mid rounding. They know what to do. They're tricky to play against, and they're decisive. And I think, there's so many teams in this list that have question marks. We look at these stage 3 teams, it's like PARIVISION, MOUZ, Aurora, FURIA, Falcons. I think all those 5 teams have kind of question marks surrounding them. So it's going to be very, very, like, it's hard to see where they'll go. But I think FURIA will qualify. I think they're strong enough for that.
Yeah.
No,
I give them that as well. I would give them that. From FURIA, we go to Falcons, though, and I'm just looking through some messages I was having with some of the people on Falcons, and they were on a boot camp. Then they went home for a little bit to get ready, so they refreshed and into the major for it being like the long ending to the tournament. I didn't find out how many days the boot camp was, but they've had a positive boot camp experience. More time with Carrigan, obviously. 2 second places at Astana and CAC, which is respectable, right? It sucks the way they lost, obviously, in CAC, for example. No shame to how they lost to Spirit. Obviously, they would have ideally been a better game or more competitive. But more time, more understanding of how the Carrigan wants to use these pieces and these players. Surely a playoff team. How far can they go?
100% a playoff team.
Okay, 100%. Good.
I think, they've showed, even though they've changed, Carrigan into this lineup, that they have the edge of a lot of teams, even though they've made this change. They obviously have fantastic individual players. Every single one of them is incredible in their own way.
Yep.
But I have always been and always said, I don't think they are a trophy contender for this major. I think a lot of people are, obviously hyping up Carrigan into this Falcons lineup, and I agree with them, but I'm just not agreeing right now. I think it's too early. They need more time to gel. I think it would be a fairy tale story and a very unexpected one if they, make a super deep, like a finals in this major. I think the field, is too strong.
Yeah. And I'd agree with that. And I think it's going to be one of those miracle runs if it was to be pulled off.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's what everyone wants on a crazy storyline and some magic. But my expectations is that anything of getting to semis is like a positive for them, considering this is a major and what we're talking about, Spirit, the Vitalities, even the Navis of the world, you know?
I don't think they will go through this stage without stumbles, but I think they will definitely make it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good summary. All right, from Falcons, last two teams to look at, the new teams entering, and is our ranked 2 team in the world right now. It is NAVI. NAVI have shown their consistency. They've shown good form. Second places at Rotterdam, 5th to 6th, but losing to Vitality in Rio. Second place at Blast Rivals, losing to Vitality again on both Blast events. But then,
can we talk about
Vitality,
how unlucky Navi is to get Spirit in the draw?
Bro, it's just the way, you know, the thing is, right? Spirit and FUT, yeah?
Yeah.
Going 3-0. That means they play Navi and Vitality.
Yeah.
That's the way this works. Like, that's
but
the draws you get.
That's why I hate this book call system. The first opening, like 1 to 9, and it doesn't make sense.
Hey, at least it's not best of ones, though. At least we're getting to see best of threes of this.
Yes, that's true. It's going to be exciting games throughout this stage. But
I bet Navi actually probably would have preferred to have Vitality over Spirit in that opening game.
think so too.
Just when you're looking at the monster form Spirit has and how, like, look at it just in 2025, Navi versus Spirit.
I mean, it's
2025, 2026 once, but it was Spirit winning overtime Mirage 13-3 on Dust 2. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
I mean, the worst part about this is, like, just because of who they get the first game, can Navi...
It changes everything,
It does change everything. Like, you know, how do you actually approach this from a perspective? Because I could see Navi even... Prep. Yeah, but even with... Now they don't get that much time, right? Before they know the opponent.
2 days.
But the thing is, I could see Navi going through 3-2. I think they're stronger than that. I think in the normal bracket, I would have put them 3-1. If they would have played, like, let's say, Bait in a first matchup, or Monte, or BetBoom, I would have put them 3-1. I would probably have bet on them being in the 2-0 matchup. And losing out just at the end there, and then clinching the spot. But now it could be tough, because, I mean, we know that...
Oh, it will be tough.
We know that there's going to be some upsets. You know, it's not, you know, cutthroat who's going to go where, and with the book call system, maybe they'll get a really difficult 1-1 match as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they're going through. I think they're a playoff team for sure. They have that in them. We saw how good they were last major, but I think this Navi is a lot better than what we saw last major. I think this is a Navi that's ready to compete. I think they are... I would put them above Falcons in my chances for deep playoff runs. So there's a lot of things looking good for Navi, because you have MongolZ playing great, you have Wonderful playing great, you have Bit kind of waking up and playing some more consistent CS on the upper parts of his consistency. Imma always, you know, has some crazy games every single time I see him. I think there's a really well-rounded squad, and they seem to have gotten the organization with it, you know, with how they play, where they understand each other, they can get more output from their players. So it's a dangerous squad, 100%.
Yep. And I feel like for Navi, the highs of beating Vitality are still going to be there, and the belief and the self-confidence.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just going to go onto my Telegram. I'm going to give you the date they went on boot camp. The boot camp timing they went on, bro, they've been there for ages. So they came to boot camp on the 27th, or they started boot camp on the 28th of May.
Oh, wow.
That's a very long blade boot camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. You know how seriously a NAVI boot camp is as well.
Yeah.
They were grinding.
It's almost
so they've
2
already
weeks.
been on the road getting ready for it. You see?
Well, I'm expecting a lot from Navi. I think they're gonna do good in this major.
Yeah. And then Vitality. Obviously, everyone's just gonna say, yeah, another major for them to win, but
is it so
they
clear?
It's not so clear. Definitely not with how Spirit's playing, right? But this is where now they've had a lot of time to grind, right? So they went through the 2 American events with no practice. They got punished for it in Atlanta. Their last game was the 15th of May, almost a month ago. They probably took some time off after that and then just went full grind for the major, right? We know how good they are with their schedule. I'll say that they're still big favorites, but now they got a point to prove.
I mean, they are.
And that's not easy to prove again.
No, but they are massive favorites. They are, and I think, like, I still see, Vitality kind of made a mistake of showing their immortality, or their mortality, rather, to losing to BetBoom, losing to Navi. It gives every single team in this field in stage 3 a way to look that there's a chance, there's belief, because if you play BetBoom, yeah, they're a great team, but they're still one of the weakest teams here, like just ranking wise and everything, because this field is just so stacked.
Yep.
That, yeah, I don't know. I think they made a mistake of kind of going to these tournaments without practicing. I know they needed a break, and I know they're really good at managing that. But I think to some degree, maybe it will bite them in the ass. Will it for this stage? Only if they lose to FUT.
Probably, yeah. Only if they lose to FUT. And FUT's obviously going to come in super warmed up with it as well.
But they're 100% playoff, 100%.
Did you see Apex's recent tweet?
Yeah, he became a dad, or is going to become a dad.
He's going to become a dad, yeah. So his missus is pregnant. He's expecting a boy. He said, we are beyond excited to welcome our little baby boy later this year. So this year it's happening. Yep. A new player has joined the family, which is huge, right? So Apex now, I think 34, if I'm right. Let me check it. Apex. 33, sorry, Dan. I put an extra year on you.
Still young.
Obviously, his career is huge. Yeah. He's done incredibly well, but he's also going to join the Mezzi side of the world with having a baby. He's on to that next part of his life. He's going to have even more motivation to do well, by the way. The dad buff is going to be real. So there's a lot in this one, to rack up as many more before he wants to actually pack it up and pack it in.
Yeah.
Could just be that extra boom he needs. I'm riding on the story here, big time. All right, so we got our opening matchups, mate. All right, let's go down it then. So opening matchups, first one, Falcons G2. We've both picked Falcons. I think Kyosuke is going to be even happier, enjoying life even more, playing better than expected, reaching the levels we know he can do. And I think they will beat G2.
Yep.
So do you. Then we got Aurora Monte. We've both picked Aurora. Believe it'll be too tough for Monte, and we have to look at if Zowie can keep up that form. Then PARIVISION 9Z. We both said 9Z because obviously with all the reasons we spoke about PARIVISION, not too much of a hope for him. MongolZ BetBoom. I went BetBoom. You went MongolZ.
Yep.
Why'd you go MongolZ?
I mean, I still think MongolZ is a better team than BetBoom. Even though, BetBoom has shown some great strength, I don't consider this to be an easy game. I think it's a very, very, a hard-fought battle. But I think MongolZ in a best of 3, Let's just look quickly at BetBoom's maps if I have the right idea. But obviously, Mirage is a little bit on the lower list of sides. It's a strong map for MongolZ. Not saying BetBoom is not bad on Mirage, but it's their lowest rated map.
It's still MongolZ.
Nuke first pick for them. MongolZ can definitely play that. I could see a world where MongolZ gets a lot of good maps for them in this fight versus BetBoom in a best of 3, and I think they'll clinch it for that.
Okay, fair. MOUZ Legacy. I said MOUZ. You said Legacy. Well, I went with MOUZ just because I feel like Legacy at this point. I mean, it's a tough team for.
It's hard to predict Legacy in
for
any game because they can lose against anyone, they can win against anyone. But I think a slightly disoriented MOUZ might have trouble with the fast pace of Legacy.
But I think there's no pressure on MOUZ, which is going to benefit them as well.
Yeah, but there's no pressure on Legacy.
You're not gonna. There's no pressure on Legacy, but Legacy's gonna dealing with a MOUZ that doesn't have that pressure is a hard thing. Studio MOUZ, not much of a crowd.
Yeah, I put crowd, Legacy. I believe in the art. Yeah, I think it's a tough match to predict. I just think Legacy usually go out swinging the first game and do, high octane Counter-Strike, and I think it can match up really well against MOUZ. So yeah.
Well, let's see. FURIA bait. We've both done FURIA. Despite how well bait have been playing, I think MongolZ is just going to be a cut above even what Sizzy can try and offer on the server.
Yeah.
I am interested to see what will happen with how Yuri will be in form or not for the opening games, or what level he'll bring. We had a big talk about him.
Yeah, I think he's the key for me. If they're going to be competitive in this major, I put a lot of weight on Yuri's shoulders. Maybe slightly unfairly so, because there are other people in that lineup that hasn't, had the same output. But I just put a lot of emphasis on that anchor because FURIA do play a style of Counter-Strike where MongolZ do go for repicks. He do put himself into, maybe his team in awkward scenarios sometimes, even though he'll win you rounds. When he does make those mistakes and oversteps, they need someone like Yuri to kind of shield that from biting them in the ass.
Right, and as I talk about the next two with you, start loading up CS, because the next one is NAVI Spirit. I'm going with NAVI. I'm trusting in it that they can shut down Donk, despite how well Spirit played. I know a lot of people might even have Spirit as one of their 3-0s, but I'm believing in the NAVI boot camp, all that time to get ready for it and to shut down and get some revenge against Spirit. That's always been such a tough team for them. But all the stats and all the numbers would say that Spirit are massively favored in this.
Yeah. 100%. I think this is the best Spirit that we've seen, and
yeah, you keep saying it.
I think it is, and I think they have a reasonable chance actually at winning this major. So yeah, I mean, how can I not predict them?
There we go. And the last one, Vitality FUT. We both said Vitality, but I think FUT is going to give them a big push. I don't even know if they've had a matchup against each other. Let me look.
They've always played close against each other. Didn't Coolio win against Vitality?
Or just one? Oh, yeah, Coolio. They won a map, yeah. It's a one-time they did face off against each other. They won Dust 2. That was a Blast Rivals. But yeah, I'm interested to see what can happen with that. There's a potential upset in there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so get your pick'ems ready, because we're going to review quickly your stage 2 pick'ems. You had Spirit G2 going 3-0. Well, it was just Spirit out of that. Yep. Then you had FUT, BetBoom, GamerLegion, M80 Big, and Legacy going through. You had a lot of stage 1 teams. So you don't get the FUT one, but you get BetBoom.
I had FlyQuest, Legacy, and almost Big. I believed in Big.
Oh. But you had a lot of stage 1 teams, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4 stage 1 teams.
I think my biggest obviously mistake is obviously the 9C not being in there. I think that's the only thing that I probably would change to M80 if I had a do-over. Mostly that was based on my lack of information on 9C, my lack of actually watching 9C.
I also got to enjoy it at Astralis.
Yeah. So that's the only pick I will probably redo in this. I think the FUT G2 one is just a 50-50. I thought G2, could go 3-0. They ended up playing FUT. Yeah. It's, I'm not too disappointed about that. I also need to...
Well, go on then. Give me your stage 3 pick'ems, mate.
Yeah, I also need to share my screen for you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go through this. Stage 3. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm watching your screen. 1 second. Man didn't make a single stage so far.
No. One more tough game.
Bro, let me just... my stage 2 pick'ems were actually ridiculously good. I got both 3-0s and FlyQuest.
Well,
then I got G2,
to be fair,
Legacy, 9Z, Bait. I got 7. Oof, I got 7.
I mean, I would have made it if just G2 won.
Oh,
either way, I'm not a pick'ems player.
Yep.
I don't play the meta of pick'ems. I just do them and see what happens. So let's go through this. 3-0. I mean, you kind of have to pick. The weird part is if a Spirit wins,
they just have such tough
against
games.
NAVI. I don't think they'll play each other. So I think Vitality and Spirit.
No, they won't for the first one. Yeah.
Spirit NAVI. I think Falcons on a 3-1 is reasonable. I think NAVI. I think they'll be like a 3-2, but they could be 3-1 as well.
Okay.
I think FUT should manage to go to a playoff.
Yep.
I think a FURIA should manage to go playoff. I do believe in G2 making playoff as well.
Ooh.
I do see them being up there. I think they played pretty well. And this one is really tough. What I'm thinking...
You still got MongolZ, Aurora, MOUZ.
MOUZ is out of question for me. I think it's about
for you, I know.
MongolZ, Aurora. I mean, 9C has showed capacity. BetBoom showed capacity. Legacy, we know they can be a chaotic 3-2 team. But I think I'm more leaning towards a MongolZ, maybe.
Okay. He's not sure.
I'm not sure. Let's do the 0-3 teams. So, unfortunately, I'm going to pick you again, Monte.
Monte, back-to-back 0-3s for Devilwalk.
Yeah. And this one is really tough.
I don't know. I think there's one easy one, though.
I think, I kind of have to pick PARIVISION. Out of these teams. So the last one to make it through, it's very much between Aurora, MongolZ. I'm also slightly considering a BetBoom, but
okay.
I think I'll look in MongolZ.
All right, respectable.
I'll save them.
It's not bad. Let's see if we can finally get 5. Let's see if it's even possible for you. Let's wait and see.
Well, there you go. I got Monte in 0-3, and this is for audio listeners. PARIVISION 0-3, Vitality 3-0, Team Spirit 3-0, Falcons, NAVI and MongolZ with FUT, FURIA and G2 in the 3-1 and 3-2 pool.
this is the first ever major, and it's Cologne Major, where we're getting best of 3s in stage 3.
That is massive.
So now it's all legit, no best of 1s. This is what everyone's been asking for. Hopefully they will do this for all the other stages of future majors, like stage 2 and stage 1. Obviously, it's more broadcast days, it's more days on the calendar, but that would make the majors so legit.
Yeah, I'd stretch it to, if they could make at least stage 2 as well, I'll be really happy. I think it's more of a brawl and a little bit less high quality Counter-Strike in stage 1. So if they really want to save on days and stuff, I mean, obviously that's where you gotta punish. But if I've done my calculation right, you in Rio, Brasilia time, it starts at 7.
Yep.
In the morning.
No, it says 6.
6? How the?
Well, look at the document.
How does that make sense? If it's 11, I'm just counting my old times. Oh, maybe he's right. I don't know. I slightly don't believe.
We didn't do this prepared, did we?
No. Just read them out.
Okay, wait
and
a Wait. 11 says what time? 11 says is 6 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you in CET or CEST right now?
Well, I wrote CET.
We're not very well prepared, guys. We apologize.
It is 6 a.m. Either way, we'll have a graphic.
Cool. So you read it out, but the audio listeners need it, so you got to read it out.
So if you're in Rio, Brazil, in Brasilia time, it's UTC -3, I think. It's 6 in the morning. The game starts. If you're in New York, US, 5 in the morning. LA, 2 at night, 2 past midnight for you guys. And Beijing, China, 17. I do military time. I don't do the AM, PM. So 17. You calculate it yourself. Sydney, Australia, 19. So that's 7 o'clock for the people using that type of clock management.
And that's for the first game of the day, 11 a.m. CEST for Europeans, 10 a.m. for the Brits and the Portuguese. Keep going.
So this is the second matches at 13:30. So they've calculated essentially 2.5 hours for every best of 3. I think there's a bit, we might see some delays here and there, but what they've predicted for this is 8:30 Brazilian time in the morning. New York, US is 7:30 in the morning, and LA 4:30 in the middle of the night. Beijing, China 19:30, and Sydney, Australia 21:30.
Nice. And that's the 1:30 CES game. That means 12:30 for me. What just fell down in your house?
I accidentally, it's my foot. It's my foot thing. I keep my feet on.
Footrest.
Yeah, footrest.
Smooth. All right, third game. Let's get through this. Quick.
Third one, Rio, Brazil. The third game, expected time 16 CEST. In Rio, Brazil, that's 11 in the day. New York 10, LA 7 in the morning. Beijing, China at 10 at night. 22 for military clock users, and Sydney, Australia, it's midnight the next day.
And that means that was 4 p.m. CST, 3 p.m. for the Brits and the Portuguese. Anyone else who's done that time?
And
the last pair.
The fourth game expected, I think it's going to be slightly delayed. I mean, you guys have to kind of check where the matches are at. If we see a lot of overtimes, obviously playing 3 best of 3s on a tight schedule of 2.5 hours might not make the starting time 18:30, but expected 18:30 CEST for the Europeans. And in Rio, Brazil, that's 1:30 or 1:30. Is that how you say it? New York, 12:30. LA, 9:30 in the morning. Beijing, China, it's 30 minutes past midnight. And Sydney, Australia, it's 2:30 at night.
And then on days 4 and 5, it changes slightly. So first match starts at 2 p.m. CST, which is 1 p.m. for the Brits and the Portuguese. In Brazil, 9 a.m. New York, 8 a.m. LA, 5 a.m. China, 8 p.m. Sydney, Australia, 10 p.m. Second match, 16:30 CST. So 3:30 for the Brits and the Portuguese. 11:30 in the morning, Brazil. 10:30 in the morning for New York, 7:30 in the morning for LA, 10:30 at night for China, Beijing, and midnight 30 for Sydney, Australia next day. Final third match, because that's all I have on here, would be 7 p.m. CST, so 6 p.m. for the Brits and the Portuguese, 2 p.m. in the afternoon for Brazil, 1 p.m. in the afternoon for New York, 10 a.m. for LA, 1 in the morning next day for Beijing, China, and for the Australians in Sydney, 3 in the morning next day. There you go. We'll put a graph up on there for you guys to look at. And with that, that is everything everyone needs to know about Stage 3 of the Cologne Major. This is what we've dreamed of. Best of threes, the best teams, the elite teams, the very best of the first half of the season, the very best teams in the world, going head-to-head, doing what they do best, playing Counter-Strike to the highest level. Less chance of some crazy upsets, but if we do get an upset, it is legit as hell. Having to fight it in a best of 3. The chance for a team to make a comeback, play on one of their stronger maps, meet on the middle at some point as well. It's going to get exciting, mate.
Yeah, this is the major now. Now it gets real. Now it gets, exciting. Now everyone, gets to kind of prove what they've practiced and make us believers for who can win the IEM Cologne Major.
Oh, we got Q&A. Oh, I forgot. Thank you, producer. I didn't even see the Q&A in the document. I forgot.
It's all good.
Oh my God, there's a lot of Q&A as well. Thank you, guys. I won't be sleeping tonight. My wife will kill me. All right, let's have a look. First question. Aska, what do you think? Will Apex retire after Singapore Major? I think because he signed, a couple more years very recently, even if he is having a baby, I think he's got a point to prove. So as long as his team's still doing well, I can't see him retiring afterwards. He might want to go out on a bang. Maybe they just go and win Cologne, then they win Singapore, and I'm talking to him at Singapore, he's doing the wins interview, and he says, and I retire. Could be a thing. But I feel like he, in interviews, has been very clear. He's still got a lot more to give. But maybe with the baby thing, that could change,
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't expect him to. I think he, he's highly rated as an in-game leader. He's still got what it takes to be, a high-fragging player to a degree in this team. So I don't see him retiring next or after this season. Oh. We've got one from Scourger above here. I've watched many games this major and for some reason focused on the coaches. Not because of Jabis. In a map, especially a best of one, whenever you're being destroyed, should a coach always call a timeout just to give the team a breather? Or would this be a player-based decision situation? 2 different times I've seen no timeouts when the team has gone on to lose by over 9 rounds. So, I think obviously every coach does differently. Personally, I love taking early timeouts, even when we're winning. If I see there are inconsistencies in our game, if I see us being bad at linking up together, if I see the connection isn't 100% what I want to iron that out as fast as possible. Second thing, if you lose rounds, I think the timing of the timeout depends on several things. First of all, it depends on if you see that the other team has a read on you, which if you're on the T side, they are stacking very well. They're getting a lot of players in as you execute. That could be, a potential really good time to kind of call a timeout, change some of the patterns that you're using to get a better flow into the game, because at the very, very top level, you need to adjust these things instantly. Otherwise, losing 2-3 rounds in a row, them getting money control, it can spiral out of control really, really quickly. If you are losing because there's a clutch situation, you're getting bomb plans, you're a bit unlucky in the trading situations, I don't think it's necessary, because you're on the right track. You've put yourself into winning positions, so you don't necessarily need to break that flow. So I think it's a bit different just losing 9 rounds. If you are on a after plan situation every single round and you have a chance every single round, there might not be, a reason to call up timeouts. Now, obviously, that doesn't happen very often because you're competitive in all 9 rounds. So I definitely think you should be able to take a timeout in these situations, talk to the team, change a few things to make sure you have a better, chance going into the next couple of rounds and stop a momentum from the other team. I think that's also very important with timeouts. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you take a timeout just to break the momentum, make them think, make them change something. So yeah, I hope that answers kind of the question.
Solid. Nothing I need to add to that. So go on to the next one from Coin, and he says, what would you say is the best way of handling and recovering from a tough/unexpected loss? How are the vibes in the team coming to the major? I don't know. I can't answer how the vibes of the team are coming into the major because I'm not on a team. I don't know which team we're talking about. But what is the best way of handling recovering from a tough loss, an unexpected loss? I think it's just about not dwelling on it too much, being able to shrug it off and come together as a team, understand it, look at the game, look at the skybox, look at the mistakes you made, and try and just push through it. If it's a really tough loss and it's like one you didn't have a chance in, or one you almost had the game won, it's more about the leader and the coach putting everyone back in, maybe the performance coach as well, and snapping them. But I think for every team and every player, it's different. Some people handle it differently. We learned this from Major just the other day on the interview, where every player's got a different way of how they want to be spoken to or dealt with during this, and that becomes something you have to manage at the same time as well.
I think, first of all, handling and recovering from a tough loss, I think the first thing you need to understand is everyone treats defeats and unexpected losses and tough moments in different ways. Some people joke around and are willing to talk about it and almost in a self-deprecating way, get it out of the way. Some people, they want to close themselves behind, a door and sit and, think about it and be negative for a day or two. So respect the individual, first of all. Don't force people to go into things they are not ready to digest yet. Now, vibes for like, and I think, that's kind of it. Take talks when it's suitable for everyone, not just a few. I think that's how you handle it and recover from it. Is you give people the respect to handle it on themselves, and then come as a team and handle it together when everyone is ready. And vibes coming into the major, I mean, it really depends what team you're talking about.
Yeah, we can't answer that.
I think for me, when I won the major as a player, I knew the first day I stepped into that hall that we were doing something special, and vibes were unbreakable good. Like it was a weird feeling that I just knew something good was going to happen. And it was the same when I was a coach and won the major. I had the same feeling then. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's
when you're with the people for so long, right? You know the difference between that feeling and not. But
yeah.
It's not until you experience it that you can put your finger on it, so to speak.
It's hard to put in words because it's almost like, I don't know how to even explain it using fate, or like you feel there's something you feel that goes through your body. It's like you're ready for this. We've worked for this. We've done this. We know the mistakes and everything. We've ironed them out. We've talked about them. I think if you're going into the major, like for example, like a PARIVISION, where maybe they haven't ironed out everything, they haven't talked about everything, they haven't found solutions for everything. I think it's more biting your nails and just seeing how things go and hoping you see the best team that you know is in there, but just rarely comes out. Then you probably have more of an anxious feeling going into the major. Yeah, it's a difficult question because every team is in different positions and different spaces when they go into a major like this.
All right, next question, Conan. I'll let you read out. I'm jumping the gun. I'm trying to speed through this so I don't fall asleep.
Conan, do you think Bait stands a chance against any of the teams in Stage 3 after mostly being saved by an incredible performance by Sissy against Big? And what's the furthest you see them go after what we've seen? I mean, I kind of see them as a 1-3 or potentially even 0-3 team. But I see 1-3.
Yeah, I put them in like 1-3. I feel like last time when they went to Budapest and they were one game away from making it, it was a good run anyway. They've shown they can improve a bit. We saw like the better performances from Sizzy, like you mentioned. But I think this is a whole different ball game. Like, this is so tough what they're going into. But no matter what they do from this point onwards, any result is good. I know it sounds weird to say those kind of things, but just because of where Bait is and where they started.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a terrible start to this season, and they've managed to salvage it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready to compete for titles, but I do think that we'll see a stronger Bait going into next season. They've shown that the trajectory is upwards. They're just not. They need time to finish the trajectory line all the way through. Right now, they're not it. But maybe for next major.
Just imagine when Sizzy's getting more confident, get more experience under his belt. It's going to be so good for him. All right. Pirat comes in with the next one. He says, do you think there is a way other teams can take an advantage of Spirit not having a coach, like doing some unexpected adjustments going into a match or even a curveball map veto? Maybe the curveball map veto could throw you off, but not many teams are going to look at that. Like, it's not a thing you'll see often, even in these best of threes. I think the only time maybe this coach situation can be taken advantage of against Spirit is when we get to playoffs. I don't think in the group stage it's going to be a problem.
I mean, if they would be matched up against a Vitality, I think the coaching point definitely, yes, that could be a problem for them, or potentially, even a Falcons to some degree if they get a really, really good start and Spirit can't find a way back into the game. But I have a hard time seeing that. I think it's like Banks is saying, like it's more a playoffs discussion rather than a group stage discussion. When all the pressure's on the line, everyone, wants this so much, and sometimes that over eagerness can destroy the way you play Counter-Strike. And that's when a coach can be really, really helpful and come in. But I don't really see it in the Swiss stage.
All right, next.
Jkrem, where is your favorite after show party located? What?
I'm glad I'm thinking, what? Like, where? Does he mean just after party? I don't understand the after show party. Like, there's no show I go to after the...
Where is your favorite after show party located?
I guess if he's talking about the show is like the stage and the arena, and then we finish on a Sunday and then we go out somewhere. I'm old now. Mine's my bed. Maybe a few drinks at the bar. I'm not rolling into the parties too much.
Not me either.
Yeah. I did. To be fair, in Budapest we did it.
Yeah, but I barely.
You were there for like a couple of hours. Yeah. I was there till about 3 a.m. But it's more like just, it doesn't matter where it's located. It's more about the people that are there. Sometimes you go to these things and like there's a lot of people invited who are not really like the players and talent. They're boring. You don't want to go to them. That's just like business people and stuff, not so much fun. But if it's like all the people, especially because of where the majors are located before we go into player break, it's nice to just say congratulations to a few people, talk shop a bit, talk about the game, have a couple of beers, and then go. Or cocktails, whatever you fancy. But I can't really give you a location because every time it's somewhere different.
Yeah.
Last one from Crow. If Falcons fail to make playoffs, what are the expectations for Falcons from then until Shanghai? I'm guessing you mean Singapore. That's at the end of the year because Shanghai is quite a long way away. So I'm going to just say Singapore.
Yeah.
Is it to grind every tournament until Singapore to Fury Craft and keep the strats until Singapore? I don't think they will fail playoffs. If they did, I think it's just more they can learn from. I think it would be foolish because we know Carrigan's contract is more than just these majors for them to focus and it'll just go back to the normal tournament grind, the normal cycle, and keep trying to build on what they've got. If they still did badly when it gets to Singapore, then maybe something else has to change. But I mean, I can imagine them sticking with these 5 players now, at least until the end of the year, and building and developing on what they've got and just going from there.
Yeah. I mean, what else to say? I mean, obviously they're gonna grind and theory craft and keep the strats. What does this mean even? And you have to refresh your strats.
Well, I guess he thinks. Yeah, it's every time you have to change your strats, right? So
I mean, depends on what happens. I mean, sometimes teams show up to a major and they kind of change the meta, which makes other strats redundant right now. And it's like, an example would be like Nuke. When people started doing the really, really quick vent drops, was like a huge like shift in the meta for Nuke, which made CTs having to start a little bit more free inner, throwing nades early in the smokes. They had to use a lot more utility early on because they didn't want T's down vent. That would be disastrous, you know? And it just makes the rotation so long. So people have to shift the way they play to kind of stop it. And people over abuse it for quite a time after it's discovered, so to speak. So I think all majors we kind of see something slightly revolutionary, and I'm sure it's going to be now. Therefore, I think every team is going to have to refresh, have to kind of rethink, things. And I think Falcons are in a place where they definitely are going to refresh and rethink because they want Carrigan's system in. So they're not going to keep the same. They're going to change everything.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We got to the end of Q&A. I stayed awake throughout all of it. And that means episode 70 is actually ending now, and I don't mess it up. Thank you for bearing with the technical problems, the changes, a couple of edits we're going to have to put in this episode as always. But thank you for watching episode 70. Devilwalk, you can do the outro and get us out of here. And we'll see him on the next episode between stage 3 and playoffs.
Yeah, subscribe and comment on the videos. We really, really appreciate it. And, we've been pumping episodes after episodes. So we'll definitely get to responding to all the comments as we go. But really appreciate you guys. Hope to see you in the next one.